Right, this is Kimbucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena. Today, shout out, first of all, shout out to everybody in the chat. SSC, Knockout Net, Prophet Ben. Who else do we have here? SSC, Rappa Struck and Company, Jamie, Quick Sloth, Grim Reaper. All right, let's get this party started. First of all, hit the like. Don't forget to hit the like button. That really helps us out. All right, so today we're going to be talking about several things that have been happening in the Benavidez family. First of all, Diego Pacheco is leaving Jose Benavidez Sr. So he's going to be finding a new trainer, I guess. Some people are saying that he should go with Robert Garcia. I think that would be a great idea. And we're also going to be talking about David Benavidez. He had an interview, a very good interview with Villegas in Fight Hub TV. Go check it out. That's a great interview. He talked about a lot of things that I want to address. Most importantly, he's going to leave Lewkowicz. I call him Lewkowicz. He's going to leave Lewkowicz, and I guess the PBC as well, because he wants to be, how do you call it, an independent. He wants to go independent, like De La Hoya and Mayweather. So that's very interesting. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that and much more regarding these two boxers, Pacheco and David Benavidez. So first of all, we have BDA here. BDA, are you ready?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good.
So yeah, should we start with Diego Pacheco? And then we'll move on.
Let's talk about the fight happening on Saturday.
Oh,
just to get that one out of the way.
All right. So, yeah,
the
guys,
biggest,
let's talk about Jaron Ennis, who's fighting Lima. I forgot his first name. The fuck is his first name? Anyways, he's fighting this guy who's from Britain, I believe, but from
Wisma Lima.
Yes. He was born in Angola.
From Angola. Isn't that where Furioso's from?
I think so. Yeah, it used to be a Portuguese colony. So, yeah, this guy Lima, just one of his fights, his most recent fight is on YouTube. You guys should check it out. I watched it, and I don't see. I mean, he's a strong guy. He's a true super welterweight. So he looks strong, but other than that, he looks very basic. He looks stiff, slow.
Tight? You say he looks tight?
He looks tight, man. He looks tight and slow. I think Ennis is going to get him out of there. Yeah, but here's the thing, though. What I like about this fight is this is a tune-up fight for Jaron Ennis, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But he's going to be dealing with a bigger guy for the first time in maybe his whole fucking career, right? Or maybe a guy his own size. So that's going to be interesting. See how he deals with that type of physicality, that strength that Lima's going to be bringing. But again, like I said earlier, Lima lacks skills. So I don't know how much of a test this is going to be. But hey, it's a tune-up fight, and let's see.
Yeah, it's a good point, man. First of all, you were saying the guy looks tight, he looks slow, he looks this, he looks that. You know who he looks like? Bray put that in the Discord. He looks like Mbappe, the French football player.
Yeah, let's take a picture. Let's show people. Yeah, he looks like Mbappe.
He looked like Mbappe. Now, is it true Mbappe? And again, I'm not saying I know this for a fact, but there's a rumor circulating, or it's been circulating for a while now. But Mbappe, did he used to go out with a tranny or?
Yeah, I believe that's the rumor.
Nah, okay, it's a rumor. Okay, but it's not. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's never.
I was gonna say you're a multi-million-dollar football player. I mean, he's a multi-million-dollar player, world-renowned, World Cup winner, right? He won the World Cup in 2018. He was on the roster. And that's the best he can get. I mean, hey, listen, man, who am I to judge, right? But I mean, I'm just saying, well, why get yourself synthetic meat when you can get the real thing? Why get a synthetic steak when you can get the real thing, right?
Exactly.
Be it as it may, with Lima, yeah, I saw his fights on YouTube. Because you look at his record, he's gone on a he's got a 3 victory streak, a victory streak of 3 wins. Obviously, he's fought, beaten 3 undefeated guys in a row. But then you look at these guys' fights, and again, I couldn't find the Gatti fight. That was the one from last year in December. I only found snippets of it on Twitter, but man, this guy is slow, man. He's slow. Now, Jaron Ennis is a mid-range to close range fighter. He's not a long range fighter. And people like to say, because I've pointed out the fact that he's very hittable. And people say, no, but if he wanted to, he could go out there and put on a master clinic, but he doesn't want to. He wants to go out there and hurt his opponent. He can't. He's not that type of boxer. He's a mid-range, close-range fighter. And that's why, and you know what? That's good. Who wants to see this guy running around the ring and, trying to look like a Floyd Mayweather? No, man, go in there, play to your strengths. The guy's got power. He's got quick hands. He digs to the body. And even though this guy is a natural 154-pounder, again, in the build-up to the Canelo Crawford fight, we saw Canelo and Ennis sparring, and we saw those pictures of them standing side by side. Jaron Ennis is a super middleweight. Like, he could easily be fighting super middleweight right now. He'd have no problem there. I mean, not that he wouldn't have any problem. What I'm saying is he would have no problem making the weight or putting on, rehydrating himself up to that comfortable weight. But Lima, man, he's a close-range fighter. I saw that fighting against McKenna from, 2 years ago, thereabouts. He's a spoiler, man. He just goes in there and tries to get us chest to chest. Like you said, he's slow, but he's annoying because he just sticks to you like glue. So we'll see what happens. I expect Jaron Ennis to play up to his strengths and dig to the body and, maybe try to recreate what he did against Villa a couple of years ago. But you just never know what's going to happen, man. I mean, we that guy that beat Yoenli Hernandez at 154 too, incidentally, early this year. He was German, but he was from an African country as well, but by way of Germany. That guy powered up. On fight night and beat Hernandez. So you never know with these dudes. But I mean, again, Lima is 32 years old. He's slower. He doesn't hit as hard, nowhere near as hard as Ennis. At least the welterweight version we saw of Ennis. So whenever you have a guy who's faster and hits harder and is younger, and the other guy's strength is to fight on the inside, but he lacks that speed and that power, usually doesn't end well for the older, slower guy. But we'll see, man. You never know. That's why we watch these fights.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess, okay, so you have Boots Ennis. I have Boots Ennis. I think everybody has Boots Ennis. I have him by stoppage, winning by stoppage. I hope he wins by stoppage because, this is an exciting division and we want, Ennis to give us that, shows that he's destructive at 154, the same way he was at 147 to a certain extent. And then hype us up for a big fight. There's so many opponents at 154 that could make
it's the best division in boxing. It's the best division in boxing. And Ennis is being anointed as the next best thing. And what I like about him is that he will dig to the body. Like, usually you got these guys that got power. They don't let their hands go. This dude, he sees a target in front of him and he'll try to whack these guys out of there. So hopefully he does the same thing because, again, this isn't a juicy fight. It's a very dry fight on paper.
I mean, this is what we expect Boots to destroy this guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah.
I mean, we don't want to see this guy go to a decision. It's a tune-up fight. What do you do with a tune-up fight? You destroy your opponent.
Exactly. There you go.
And Boots has gotten criticism for this fight. They're like, why do you need a tune-up?
The Food TV go, he loves whacking, man. I knew that was going to get me in trouble, that word whacking. That's the word I use. Hammer, wallop. But everyone always turns it sexual. I don't know what that's not my problem. What do you want from me?
Prophet Ben is asking, why don't you call out Sebastian Fundora for being a Mexican weight bully too? By the way, I looked it up and these guys half Mexican, half Cuban.
Fundora?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why whenever I saw him, I was like, he doesn't look fully Mexican. He looks like
he's never claimed to be Mexican. I don't see Mexican flags. Obviously, he's born in the U.S. But, you have so many Mexican Americans that, they really show that Mexican pride, like they wave the flag, Mexican music or something. This guy doesn't really bring that the Mexican culture into the ring. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, listen, if he continues gaining a little bit more traction, maybe he'll do the Benavidez thing and start playing up the Mexican angle.
Yeah. Remember when Benavidez was, I think it's when he fought Caleb Plant, they put a Mexican flag next to his picture.
But I don't understand. The Benavidez, we're going to get to him later, but didn't he used to call himself La Bandera Roja, which is the red flag?
Oh, yeah.
So by using the Spanish thing, they were paying tribute to he was paying tribute to his Hispanic heritage. So
the Shilling distributor says come on, Bucho. Fundora has been Mexican all along. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess I always consider him like Mexican American, but
I
he's
don't
from
know.
Cuban and he's from Florida. What do you? Then the
By the way, Pancho Villa says.
Yeah.
Pancho Villa says Fundora. No, excuse me, not Pancho Villa. Handsome Mechanic says skinny skeleton, a weight bully. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I wasn't even gonna dignify that with a response, but yeah.
Oh, right. You're right. Yeah, he's a
yeah.
weight bully. I mean, he's skinny as fuck.
I mean, you got eyes or are you blind?
Look at the picture over here. Boots Ennis, the welterweight Boots Ennis, next to super middleweight Canelo. Sort of like Crawford against Canelo. I mean, Crawford didn't look that small. So I don't know. I don't know what they're eating in the US. I don't know what. It's a technology. I'm gonna call it that technology. You know what I mean?
That's right. The technology.
The technology. What else? Where were we going with this? We're just reading some comments here from people in the chat. Hit the like if you're enjoying this show. Cool bro, 6'6", 154. Oh, he's skinny as fuck. I mean, I don't see any. Look at Ennis. Is he like skinny or something? Look at that. Pure muscle, bigger than Canelo. I don't know. The technology.
I mean, people want to believe what they want to believe, man. So we can't convince them.
Science.
It's
science.
It's science.
Rafael
Garza.
Yes, thank you for becoming a member again of the BDA family. He says, "I am happy he is in a." What the fuck is that?
The fuck is that? I'm happy he's with a round 4. What is it?
Because he knocked himself out of the equation and leaves more women for my son and I. I'm happy he's with who? I'm fucking confused.
I don't know what he's talking. Anyway, I'm missing him. Sorry, man. Sorry, Life guys. It's going over our head, man.
Yeah.
Fluke Duke says it's an equation. Yeah, well, I'm not a math major. Never been a big math guy. I'm more about a subtraction type of guy. I take people out. That's what I do.
That's right.
Remember that was from Oz. Remember? When he goes, you get your equations wrong there because, and he goes, well, multiplication was never my big thing. It was subtraction.
I don't fucking remember. I need to rewatch Oz. It's been a long time.
It was Suprema La said that. Anyway, go ahead.
Suprema La. Reading some comment. I'm losing my train of thought here. Okay, should we move on? Okay,
what's the next subject?
Yeah. Fuck, Ennis is fighting. Everybody knows this. It's a tuneup fight, so we're not gonna be spending a lot of time talking about this shit. We're gonna be moving on to the next topic here. Diego Pacheco. That's his first name, right? Diego, right? I was confusing.
That's right, yeah.
I didn't write it down. Diego Pacheco, who is...
You didn't even know the guy's name.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Diego Pacheco, who's been looking like shit lately, right? Where is he? What I wrote here. So he's leaving his trainer, David Benavidez Sr. And let's see what
Jose Benavidez Sr.
Jose Benavidez Sr. Yeah, that's right. So Pacheco the Pacheco requested the release to go to a different route, which was granted by Benavidez Sr. Apparently, the breakup was done in a friendly way. So they didn't throw punches at each other or anything like that. No knife fights. Who had at least 2 fights remaining in their alliance. Benavidez Sr. spoke highly of Pacheco, stating that he believes Pacheco can become a world champion. No problem. And what else he said? And that he will remain a supporter and a fan of his career. So apparently, very friendly breakup. They just decided to go different ways. And there was no buyout of the contract.
Well, that begs the question: what type of deal did they have? Was it a handshake deal? Was it because normally they do have contracts. The trainer said.
I have no idea. He says no financial buyout.
They have to. I mean,
no financial buyout was required for the split. So I mean,
yeah, that's weird. And
yeah,
but it's interesting that Jose Benavidez Sr. would just let him go and that's the other thing though. It seems like Diego Pacheco told the guy up front because the way some other guys do it, and one of them was De La Hoya, the trainers that he would fire would then later come out and say he didn't even tell me directly. He was always there was always an intermediary. That's how the way De La Hoya used to operate. I don't know if he still operates that way. Maybe he still does as a promoter with his fighters. But when he was a fighter, he wouldn't tell the trainers directly. At least that's what they claimed. They said that there would be his brother or somebody else and say, like in The Godfather, you're out, Tom. That's what they do it. Now, Pacheco said that, hey, look, it seems like he told Senior directly, like it's not working out. But Which that begs the question too. Again, was this change necessary? Did Pacheco believe it was necessary? Obviously, he felt like it was necessary, but was it really so? Because let's set the table for that. Because I don't think Pacheco is just leaving him because he wants to work with other trainers because he got stale. When he fought Marcelo Coceres, the Argentinian guy, he looked good. Pacheco did. He ended up stopping Coceres. He was a tough fight early on, but then he took him out. And Coceres is a tough guy. He's the guy that dropped Berlanga early in his career, and he also gave Billy Joe Saunders hell before Billy Joe Saunders stopped him. And so Pacheco ended up stopping. Okay. Then the next fight, he takes on a guy by the name of Sean McCalman. He was I think he was also undefeated, that dude. And he was a boring fight. That was a fight, incidentally, where David Benavidez was ringside and he looked like he was hammered. And yeah, Pacheco went the distance with this dude. And Diego Pacheco seemed way too hesitant to engage against this guy. Then he fights Sulenski, who I think a lot of people would agree was sort of shopborn by then. He ends up stopping him with a body shot. Then he outboxes Steven Nelson, and I thought it was a good win, beating the undefeated Steven Nelson, who can crack. But then, subsequently, Steven Nelson just recently lost on the Canelo Crawford undercard in less than a round. So all of a sudden, the sales are taken away from that win. And then in Pacheco's last fight, he beats Trevor McCombie. But again, compared to what other people had done against McCombie, particularly Caleb Plant, who managed to stop McCombie, you would have expected Diego Pacheco to stop McCombie as well. I mean, again, I'm not expecting him to beat him easier than Plant did, because again, Pacheco is still relatively untested, but at least go out. The fact that he couldn't stop him when Pacheco's big claim to fame is that he's a long-range big puncher, and he couldn't do that to McCombie, couldn't even put a dent in him. Okay, you won, you outboxed him, there was no doubt about it, but how far can you go now is the big question. So I think may explain why he left Pacheco, because Benavidez Senior, because it's not just one fight that he was looking stale. He looked stale in 3 fights out of 4. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's not one. Obviously, he's not like Pacheco had one bad night. He's been having many bad nights. I see some talent in the guy, but again, I mean, is this it? Has he peaked, or is changing trainer going to help him? This is the right time to do this. Don't wait it out. Don't reach 28 years old or something like that to make a change. Make it now. He learned what he could with Benavidez Senior, and maybe he'll learn more with somebody else.
Well, that's the other thing, though. He's 24 years old, so right. Yeah, there's an upside here, right? There's a silver lining, but I'm always a little bit, or often, I'm a little suspicious of these long range guys who want to try to be cutesy boxers in there. They want to be long range boxers, and I think Pacheco would do well. First of all, Pacheco needs to develop a guard, because I can't understand how you're in camp with David. Yeah. You're in camp with David Benavidez and you can't develop a guard. He fights with his lead hand down. He tries to be, like I said, slick boxer. You're a long-range guy. You're not even that fast. You can crack. Put that guard up and start digging to the body and learn how to fight on the inside. It's like you're not always going to outbox your opponent. There's going to be some guys that are going to be faster than you, more mobile than you. You're going to have to put pedal to the metal. That's what he needs to do. And he could have done that against those guys that I mentioned. Steven Nelson, that? Okay, like I said, Steven Nelson.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Finish.
Steven Nelson, I understand he didn't want to pressure Nelson too much because Nelson can crack. But McCombie and the other dude that I mentioned, he could have done better in those fights, for sure.
More aggressive. I remember we were watching that fight and on Discord, somebody mentioned, somebody said, he looks like he's scared. He's scared of trading. He's hesitant. He might be one. Well, he might be one of those guys. You know what I mean? They don't.
Well, you know what he's scared. What it actually might explain why he's hesitant. Yeah. There's a reason why he might be hesitant, and that's because again he's got no guard. How are you going to pressure guys if you got no guards? Like Teofimo Lopez, he's in the same conundrum. When he fights guys like Jermaine Ortiz or Xander Martin, and he's pressuring them, but he's got his hands down. He's fighting like Roy Jones, but coming forward. Like no matter how confident you are, your body lets you know, your subconscious is letting you know, hey, you got your hands down. You got to be watch out because you're pressuring a guy, right? And you got your hands down, or at least the lead hand down. What's your best mode of defense? It's moving the head. But if you're pressuring a guy, you can move the head, but you got to keep those hands up so you can parry because you're not always going to make the guy miss while coming forward. That's insane. You can't do that. And that's the problem with the guys like Diego Pacheco and Teofimo Lopez. They need to learn how to develop a guard and how to walk guys down behind that guard, but they don't do it.
They want to be too fancy. Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of these people are in love with that fancy thing.
You think they can be Neo from the Matrix, basically. They don't need a guard. You know, they'll just dodge all the bullets because they're the chosen one.
Look at Bam Rodriguez. He's decided to employ the Lomachenko approach, high guard, walking guys down, but you're incorporating footwork with it. In other words, you're advancing, and then you can block some shots. And then if you want to really, if the other guy's loading up, you can take a little step back and then you reapply the pressure. That's very difficult to do, though. I don't expect everybody out there to do it, but you can incorporate some of that in there, or lift some of those things off. What I'm saying is, if Pacheco continues fighting the way he's doing now, I don't expect him to go that far. He's a good fighter. He's solid, but there was a lot of upside on him, and he's not been proving it. He's not been proving it in the ring lately. Now, again, whether this was Jose Benavidez' senior fault, I don't know. Jose Benavidez Sr., maybe he learned a little bit from the Rayo Valenzuela fight and said, listen, I can't control if these guys want to be with me or not. So I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to bitch about it. If he wants to leave, he can leave. And how many times have we seen fighters too, by the way? They leave their trainer, and then 3-4 fights later, they're back with that same guy. A lot of these fighters are on certain people.
Well, if things don't work out with his new trainer, he might go back with Jose Benavidez Sr. Who knows? But apparently, his next fight is probably going to be December 13th in California. So we'll see who his new trainer is, and we'll see if he actually improves, basically. All right. So next topic here, we're getting to David Benavidez now. So if they, and we're going to be quoting a lot of the things he said on that Fight Hub interview, Fight Hub TV. He was saying that he's going to be leaving Lewkowicz. So he wants to become an independent boxer. What's the word? Independent. I'm losing my train of thought here. What the fuck is the word? Like
free agent, or did he say free agent? Or he said
I think he wanted to become like De La Hoya and Mayweather.
Right, but that's what I was confused, because I heard him say something about, well, I want to create my own promotional company. He said, like Mayweather and De La Hoya. He said Canelo too.
Be his own manager, be his own promoter, like manage his whole fucking
maybe
career.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting though about that, real quick? These guys that ended up starting their own. Yeah.
He cannot be. How is he going to become a promoter? Like, that's very difficult. First of all, I mean, I can understand because
that's what I think he meant.
Yeah.
I think there's a delay here between us.
Yeah, there's a fucking delay. Yeah.
My connection says yellow anyway, just to keep informed about that. But yeah, I think if he's gonna be a so-called agent, I mean a promoter, I think maybe he's talking post-retirement or near post-retirement, because this was gonna say the guys who ended up starting their own promotional entities, they had a lot of money. I mean, Mayweather, when he started TMT Promotions, even though that went nowhere, he had a lot of money. He was the A side at the time, so he was commanding these $50 million plus dollar purses. Same thing with De La Hoya. De La Hoya, by the time he started his company, Golden Boy Promotions, I believe was 2002. I think I want to say it was 2002, and he used his leverage as being the A side with HBO to say, "I'm going to start my own company, and HBO, can you throw me a couple of dates?" I don't know if you remember, but the HBO Latino, they threw him a couple of fight dates that he could use to set up these smaller club fights. Benavidez doesn't have that type of leverage. He doesn't have that type of money. He doesn't have the infrastructure to do that. He's not the A side, and he doesn't have hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. I don't think so. I'm suspecting that, yeah, he's talking about his ambitions post-retirement or near post-retirement to set up his own promotional company. But I think, yeah, you're right. He might be referring to he wants to be a free agent right now.
Right, just a free agent, and make his own decisions. Because I don't know what the fuck Lewkowicz, I'm going to call him Lewkowicz, has been doing with this guy. Like, I asked the question, like, what good has this guy done for Benavidez's career? You think about it.
It's a good question.
I mean, sure. I mean, Benavidez has made money. If you compare him to 99% of other boxers, he's been doing pretty well. But I feel like he could have done much more. There's much more. And people are going to say, well, he wanted the Canelo fight. He didn't get the Canelo fight. I mean, was his career based on that Canelo fight? Did it gravitate only towards that fucking fight? Or could he have done something else? Maybe he should have moved up to 175 years ago instead of waiting till now, recently. There were so many fights. He claims, by the way, he claims that it wasn't his fault. It was other people's fault. Like it's other fighters. He says they held me back. Basically, he said. So he knows there was the whole thing. He knows something didn't happen, and then he's blaming them.
Well, I mean, listen. To make it in this boxing business, not only do you have to have the talent and the skill, because those are two separate things, you got to also have Lady Fortune on your side. And sometimes there's fuck ups. You got to surround yourself with good people. And I remember, I think, what was it, 2021? They were talking about a Killer Plant fight, and Lewkowicz said no. He didn't want the Plant fight yet for his fighter. Could Benavidez have had a bigger upside starting back then in 2021? That fight didn't take place all the way up until 2023. So I don't know. I mean, Lewkowicz, look, I brought up the point the other day about how, who am I to judge a promoter? Like it's a difficult business. It's filled with sharks. He did have Sergio Martinez. None of the big promotional entities wanted Martinez. And he turned out to be a good talent. He turned out to be the undisputed middleweight champion. Mm-hmm. So, and Lewkowicz had him. But then you said, yeah, but they were both Argentinians. So it's not like Lewkowicz was operating from Indonesia and he traveled the world and found that one gem that was hidden. He knew who the guy was. So it's true. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how good Lewkowicz really is. I'm just looking at how Benavidez' career stalled early on. Now it's getting some traction. Now they're finally fighting in Riyadh season. Even though earlier this year or late last year they were talking about no Vegas, only Vegas. No, it was earlier this year, right? I think after the Morrell fight, yeah. Vegas. They should change their mind real quick. So there's a lot of uncertainty within their own camp. And it's a shame because Benavidez, like I keep saying, he's must-see TV. Even though he's not scoring stoppages anymore, he goes out there to pressure his opponents. He throws punches from all angles. But I mean, it's time, man. It's time to leave that. Just like sometimes you got to leave a trainer for greener pastures. Benavidez should have left this dude a long time ago. That was for the last 2 years. That was my contention.
Right. And what was this whole thing about him only fighting in Las Vegas? I think this is a Lewkowicz plan that he had. See, this is why I don't think he's as good as some people claim he is or whatever. Because I think his plan was to make Benavidez a Las Vegas star, right? Like, if you come to Las Vegas, you're gonna get a David Benavidez fight. We're gonna grow him into a Las Vegas star. That's a terrible plan. Las Vegas is nobody shows up to Las Vegas anymore, anyways. Like, and what's happening now? Well, reality. Benavidez is leaving Lewkowicz. He's fighting under Turkey's promotional company, whatever that shit's called, and he's fighting in Saudi Arabia. So, I mean, apparently that was the most viable plan. Not fighting in Las Vegas, not following what I believe was Lewkowicz's plan. So, yeah.
That's a great point. That's a good way of framing it. Yeah, let's look at what happened eventually. The Riyadh season. Take that Riyadh season. Tank Davis, some of his fans who are still defending that move against Jake Paul keep talking about the money. Oh, financial security, these boxing fans are not going to take care of you when you're retired and you're in a fucking nursing home. It's like, all right, with the melodrama, with the hyperbole there. Benavidez is fighting. They're going to offer him some big names. Hopefully he takes them. And he's getting paid handsomely, I believe, from what I understand, for that Yardy fight. Now, is it the most compelling fight out there? No. But what was he going to do? Fight Yardy in Vegas in front of 5,000 people? Exactly. And like you said, I keep hearing on Twitter and I keep watching these videos on YouTube, Vegas is dead. Vegas is not booming. For a variety of factors, a myriad of factors, it just ain't happening anymore. This isn't 2000, this isn't the 90s. You want the big money, you got to play ball with right. Turkey Al-Sheikh and maybe even in the white eventually.
And look at this, though. Like you said, imagine Benavidez fighting in Las Vegas with a shitty undercard. Right, so or some PPC mismatches or something, or
pay-per-view
on top of that pay-per-view, right? Or fighting in Saudi Arabia, being the main event and having an amazing undercard. I mean, you have Haney, Norman Jr., you have Abdullah Mason fighting, you have Bam Rodriguez against Martinez. That's a great undercard. So no, he made the right.
Now the downside is that the audience remains the same. The crowd remains the same. There's not going to be that many people there. But like you said, part of a great undercard. It's free on the zone. It's not plastered with a pay-per-view tag. And let's face, it's one of those events that's not going to be a pay-per-view. They said, right?
I thought it was a pay-per-view.
Or am I mistaken?
I don't know.
People in the chat let us know.
Yeah,
people in the chat let us know. I was under the impression that that's the deal going forward with this Riyadh season cards. These ring cards. What do they call them? Ring 4, ring 5.
This is ring 4. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But that's a great way of putting it, which is like whatever the plan was, Vegas is Vegas. That's not the plan anymore, apparently. So I think they left that pipe dream go. Now the interesting thing is too, Benavidez, the language he was using about Lewkowicz. He seemed very magnanimous. It's like, hey, listen, I'm thankful for the opportunities he gave us, and I'm thankful for the union. But then you got to wonder too, which was like, okay, then why are you leaving him? It's like, why are you parting ways with the guy? Something's not clicking. And yeah.
No, if he was successful partnership, he'd stay with them. And yeah, sure, after you retire or when you're near retirement, you can start your own promotional company. You can do whatever you want. But why do it now? Why do it now?
Exactly, yeah.
Because things are not going well. And he even said it. I've been held back. I've been held back. Okay, so you're saying that your career hasn't been the success that it maybe should have been.
Mm-hmm. What a fucking crummy business boxing is.
Yeah.
I mean, things can be going your way, but if you're not represented by the right, but listen, the upside here is, I mean, it's not doom and gloom. It's the guy's 28 and he's finally making the right move. So he's still got now the right move is too, man. Maybe just, he walks around at 200 plus pounds. So maybe that's not the great way to go. Also, he says he's still an Al Heyman guy, but we don't even know if Al Heyman is still operating or if he's still operating at what capacity.
We don't know exactly. We don't know where he is. We don't know if he's real still. We don't know if he's real. But Benavidez did call him, he did call Al Heyman his grandfather. He's like my grandfather. So that's a new one. That's a new one. He's like my father. Now he's like my grandfather. So
my mentor. Yeah. One day we're going to hear people say he's my lover. It's like, wow.
Life guru.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, speaking of PBC, the Pacheco, the Diaz, what am I talking about? Roach versus Cruz. Lamont Roach, Isaac Cruz. They had the press conference today. It's going to be December the 6th from San Antonio. Try to get some of those Mexicans in there. Bucho, PBC pay-per-view.
Right. It's a good fight. Listen, Cruz against Roach, it's a good fight. It's not a pay-per-view, though. This should not be a pay-per-view. Right. So did they announce the undercard?
No, so. Not yet. No. Not. I mean, I'm looking at it on the ESPN schedule page.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna have maybe.
What do you guys think? Cruz against Roach.
You know who they're gonna put in. I can already see it now. They're gonna put Julian Williams in there against somebody else, right? Okay. They're gonna maybe Kelly Plant versus Lascendis 2, the rematch.
Yep.
Fundora maybe against Tim Zoo 3.
Fundora is not like a. And, I think Fundora is. Yeah, exactly. Fundora is a main eventer.
Erislandy Lara maybe. They're going to put Erislandy Lara in there with Kell Brook or something like
that. I think Kell Brook is completely on that, but yeah, I can see that. I can see something like that. Let's go to a super chat here from Rapa's Trucking Company. Thank you for your donation. He says, Benavidez todavía mamando a Heyman. Oh yeah, he's on his knees.
Come on, man.
He's performing some acts on Al Heyman. Yeah, I don't know. I think they've been.
Listen, you can't listen.
He has him like under a cult type of spell. I don't know what you call it. You know what I mean? He's like a cult leader.
I'm giving Benavidez credit because he's taking the first step, which is Lewkowicz, like Chitlin distributor who calls him Lewkowicz. Yeah, they get away from Lewkowicz because that guy. I mean, Al Heyman, you can still succeed even if Al Heyman is your manager. But with Lewkowicz, I don't know what he was up to.
Well, I think Al Heyman, I don't want to know what he was up to. He just gets 5% or something.
Well, that was a thing. Yeah, we talked about that months ago. They were saying that he wasn't even Al Heyman. He's got health issues apparently, and it's Mark Brown or Tom Brown, whatever his name is. The guy with the what's the name of that Russian guy with the wine stain on the front on the forehead? Gorbachev, was that Gorbachev?
Yeah, Gorbachev.
Yeah, well, that dude, the PBC guy, he's got the wine stain, but he's got it on the cheek. You know what I'm talking about, right? He's a big dude, big old guy. He's always in the beginning of the press conference. He has to come up and go, "This is a great fight." Oh, no, excuse me. He doesn't have an accent. What am I talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to see him to but they all say it's a great fight. This is a great fight.
Well, apparently he's the guy that's taking. That's what they say. He's the guy that's the day-to-day activities. He's on the. Yeah, I think that's what. What's his name? Fucking a guy from Twitter, Glacier. I think that's what Rick Glacier said.
I see. All right, let's continue with this David Benavidez interview with Fight Club TV. What else did he say? He said he wants to fight Beterbiev or Bivol. I mean, he wants them next, but then he goes on. I'm paraphrasing here. He's going to, well, you know how the sport of boxing is, blah, blah, blah. If those fights don't materialize, he wants to fight Zurdo Ramirez for the cruiserweight titles.
Mm.
So, yeah. I don't know. I don't see why those fights would not happen. The fight with Beterbiev and Bivol, since this was all part of the Turkey Al-Sheikh world universe. I think those.
I mean, so why wouldn't those fights happen? I mean, the Benavidez thing, and again, I think that was Lewkowicz's machination there. They went up to 175. The WBC told them, hey, you want to stay at 168 and remain Canelo's mandatory, you want to go up. They took their sweet-ass time. They even gave him an extension. Then they finally say, yeah, let's go up. Then the Turkey Al-Sheikh says, all right, listen, we'll give you the Callum Smith fight. I want to see Beterbiev-Benavidez 3. Excuse me, Beterbiev-Bivol 3. They said, no, we want the WBC belt, the Benavidez side said. Why were they so obsessed with having a paper belt? That's why I don't understand these people with the undisputed this, undisputed in the 4-belt era. The fact that you have to say undisputed in 4-belt era, why do all of a sudden do we respect 4 belts as opposed to even 3 was bad enough? 2 was bad enough back in the 80s when they started that whole shit, or even a little bit before that. Now 4 belts? I mean, do people not understand the stupidity in that statement? Undisputed 4-belt era. You got to go through 4 belts, 4 paper belts. So again, the same thing with the Benavidez. Now, why wouldn't those fights happen with Bivol and Beterbiev? Why not press for them? And again, I don't know if you remember, Butcherbon, we were talking about that. We did a video about Lewkowicz, the whole Vegas thing. We want to stay in Las Vegas, and we were saying that, hey, I think even then Benavidez was already talking about Zurdo. I think that's what happened, man. My memory's a little iffy, but I'm not surprised that they keep on bringing up Zurdo. And Benavidez said something interesting in this recent interview. He goes, what does Zurdo have to, what else does Zurdo have? He's got Opetaya and then that's it. I'm thinking, why are you already mentioning Zurdo? Why aren't you putting, again, it seems like it's the Canelo fight all over again. Instead of really trying to do the best he could to get that Canelo fight, it's like, oh, we want somebody else. Like, well, why not press for Beterbiev Bivol winner?
I mean, he says he wants Beterbiev and Bivol next, but then he says if those fights don't happen, I mean, it's 2 guys. Like, are you telling me those 2? Like, there's no way you can like get a fight with one of them. Like, you're already saying something's gonna happen. I don't know. I don't think Beterbiev and Bivol would avoid Benavidez. Like, seriously, like.
I mean, they fought each other. They were the best guys. They were, they were looking invincible. Yeah, they were looking invincible in their last couple of fights, or in the build-up to their fight, and they fought each other.
So Benavidez in that interview said that he was held back by these other guys who didn't want to fight him. I'm assuming he's talking about these PBC guys at 168. So Charlo could have moved up eventually. Plant. I don't know who else. I mean, he says that he didn't get that fight. He was held back, and now he's saying that he could potentially be held back again at 175, and this time not by Charlo, not by Plant, but by Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. Like, he's saying that he might not get those fights. I don't understand. Like, why would you even say that? Why would you not be able to get those fights? See,
listen, I'm confident in the Sheik, man. The Sheik makes fights happen. He's got the checkbook to make them happen. So if a guy's not, like we saw with Teofimo Lopez, not wanting to fight Devin Haney. So it's clearly when a fight doesn't happen, when it involves a Sheik, you can clearly see when it's the fighter's fault. So in this scenario, we'll see what happens with Benavidez and Beterbiev.
Yeah, you're right. And the money's I mean, if the Sheik really wants to fight, we've seen him, just put a lot of money into it, right? So if it's about the money, if that's the problem for David Benavidez, then maybe Turkey will satisfy David's needs.
Hey, by the way, if anybody's interested in the Benavidez thing, go check out that video we did about Benavidez Yardy. Just sort of breaking down the fight a little bit. Could be, I mean, at its best, it could be an interesting fight. That's for sure. Because Benavidez doesn't seem to be knocking people out anymore, or stopping them the way he was at 168. So, and Yardy's a big, strong dude. I was laughing because I was watching, as I was making the video, I was rewatching Yardy's early TN. No, what was it called before? Before it was TNT Sports, it was the with Queensberry. Anyway, BT Sports, and they did this behind the scenes features and all that. It's like, we don't spar, and then you just see him because he's got 2 trainers or 3 trainers, I think. And one of them is this fat Afro-Anglo guy. Like Afro-Anglo, when I say Afro-Anglo, I mean British version, not American version. And that dude, he's hitting the mitts with Yardy, and then all of a sudden he takes his shirt off, the fat guy, and then they start sparring, but the guy's got his mitts, so he's not really punching Yardy as much as he's slapping him. And then they're having this mock sparring session, and Yardy's like, woo, making him miss and wooing every time he does this. Like thinking, you won't spar, but you're gonna go through. You're gonna every time they would fucking have a behind the scenes or a public training thing, they would do that. I'm thinking, okay, no wonder this guy hasn't really improved that much. But if Yardy goes out there and he fires on all cylinders the way he did against Lyndon Arthur in the rematch, that's what I hope would happen, so that it would be as interesting as possible. But I'm glad Haney versus Norman Jr. is in the main event. That shouldn't anything involving Haney should not be a main event anymore.
Yeah. Haney. We'll talk about that when the time comes. What else can we say here about this? Benavidez. Let's see. He said, well, then he talked about Canelo and Crawford, what happened in the fight. He said he believes that Canelo didn't take the fight seriously. He says, I mean, he can't believe that Canelo was throwing 10 shots per round. He said he might have come into this fight overconfident. He said Bud brawled when he had to. So that was after Canelo got tired. And he says that Canelo's ego got the best of him, basically. He says that it could have been that, and then he said that could have been me, he says. I could have been the one that defeated Canelo. But Crawford got that win instead of him. What else did he say here? He says that Canelo's ego is going to keep him fighting, so he will not retire. And just because of the way he lost against Crawford, it's not like he got beat up or destroyed. He just didn't look prepared. So he says...
Well, I remember a lot of people saying Crawford was going to stop him. So he's right in that sense, Benavidez. He didn't get beat up. He just got out of the box. Now, the interesting thing is, you told me that near the end of that video that the Fight Hub interview started going to shit a little bit. What happened? What were they talking about near the end? Were they just shooting the breeze or what happened?
They were talking about Caleb Plant, and I didn't have time to finish the whole thing. So I kind of skipped that part. So I don't know what they were talking
But you know what Benavidez did say something interesting about the Canelo fight. He goes, he says, this guy, he's losing the first 6 rounds and, he's not stepping it up. You should do that after the first 3. And I say, that's true. That was a good observation. It's like, this motherfucker, he drops the first 4 rounds. And then they go, Reynoso's like, you got to step it up. And then all he's doing is just throwing more of those single shots. I mean, that was a bad look from him.
I think Benavidez said something like he wasn't used to that type of fight, Canelo, because he's been fighting in that type of way where he doesn't step it up. He just fights at the first gear, and then he's used to that, But hey, listen, it's excuses at the end of the day. You should be a professional. You should be able to adapt. You should be able to...
like the Marines.
Prepare. Yeah, what's it, the Marines?
Adapt, improvise, adapt, overcome.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
You should do something. I mean, you're not gonna take credit away from Crawford. I mean, I want to see a rematch because I don't think it was a whooping, as some people want to say. I want to claim, and then we can really see, if Canelo was actually shot or whatever. But we're gonna have to wait and see.
That's actually what you said. You said, you said that Benavidez said that Canelo's ego won't let him retire. Forget about the ego. He's got a contract with the Sheik. Not gonna break a contract with the Sheik. Are you insane? The next thing you know, Canelo gets invited to Saudi Arabia to renegotiate or something, and that's the last we hear of him. Like Garcia, what was the guy's name? The guy that supposedly got cut up all over there. He got what's the word I'm looking for here? Dismembered. You even know who I'm talking about?
No. Who?
Forget it. Oh, that's the other thing, though. In the build-up to the Canelo Crawford fight, I read that article from Boxing Scene. I didn't even know if people remember. It was on the morning show. Boxing Scene keeps complaining that they didn't get allowed access, on-site access to the Canelo Crawford fight, and now they're making this big deal. And you got guys like that reporter. What's his name? The MMA reporter. People claim he's a homosexual. I don't know why they say that. Luke Thomas. He's another guy that's going after the whole Dana White Turkey Al-Sheikh connection, and Sean Zittel too, who tried to sabotage the press conference, the final press conference to make a name for himself. And I'm thinking, isn't it interesting that Boxing Scene? Eric Raskin wrote the article. And Eric Raskin is a very good writer from the Ring Magazine days. I think he might even he doesn't write for Ring Magazine obviously anymore because he's writing for Boxing Scene. But one of the things that Boxing Scene is they've got their own Boxing Scene. The people who own Boxing Scene, they own Pro Box. And they hold this fantastic, I can't stress it enough that Pro Box, they put on some fantastic cards. I can't wait for the next one. they're lower level cards, but they make the most of what they get. Old school ESPN Friday Night Fights type Bucho, except they're usually on Wednesdays. Actually, they moved them to Fridays as well. But anyway, but that's the thing though. They're going to be competing with TKO Boxing, and TKO Boxing apparently the plan is for them to hold those same level cards. So now you can see why there's a little bit of strife. But the way they mentioned it in the Boxing Scene article, it's about freedom of speech and this and that. And I just want to reiterate one thing here, if I may, real quick. The fact that they're silencing certain journalists. On the one hand, I go, listen, it's their event. If they don't want certain people to go in there, that's fine. But then I go, well, wait a minute. What happens if eventually, you never know, what happens if the Sheik or somebody involved with that, Dana White, whatever, they get some sort of position on Google, right? They get some shares or they become majority share. I don't know how it could work. Like something could happen where they have some form of control over Google and YouTube. And then all of a sudden they start coming after people like us. We see something we dislike about the Riyadh season cards or whatever, and we point it out. All of a sudden we start getting censored. So that's why I'm thinking, look, you don't want to grant these people passes, that's fine. But there's a bunch of other people who haven't really been all overly critical of Riyadh season, and they're not getting passes. And then there's other people who have been critical, but they're what I'm saying is it's solid criticism. They're not making shit up. They don't have an agenda. They're not related to Boxing Scene, who may be biased because of the thing there between TKO and ProBox. But what I'm saying is I'm very weary of people who start censoring. I mean, listen, do we censor people sometimes in the Discord? Yeah, when people go too far and start threatening to decapitate people or they start trolling nonstop and just sabotaging. Yeah, you gotta. Then I understand you gotta censor, but censor because of they're criticizing the organization of Riyadh season. I don't know. What do you think, Butcher? Is that am I going down a slippery slope here, or
shouldn't be censoring all these guys? But maybe this is just a glimpse of what we're gonna be getting with this Riyadh season TKO UFC like company, right? That's being created. But we'll see. I mean, people won't complain if they're getting the fights that they want. So all of this censoring might not be important to fans as long as they get
that's true
the fights as they want. But that's something that should be looked into for especially for people who want to know the truth. But we shall see what happens with that. But I still believe we're in the infancy stages here of this whole TKO. What do you call it?
Metamorphosis. Yeah, I would. This metamorphosis, this chrysalis that's going on.
Metamorphosis turning into a fucking monster here. What else?
Well, that's the thing, though. Can I just say real quick, too, the whole Canelo Crawford thing, it really sucked 2 weeks after. Nothing happened. We were in a literal dry land. It was what's the word I'm looking for? Not a dystopia, but a desert for 2 weeks. Now it gave me a chance because I'm beefing up the Second Renaissance for the Halloween episodes. But man, we were flying, we were gliding on that whole Canelo Crawford hype, and then boom, it sucked all the after the fight was over, it sucked the air out of boxing for 2 weeks. So it just reminded me of something though, that boxing is coming back little by little, but this whole thing of boxing is dying, the Ali Act, they're gonna Dana White, blah blah blah. Look, boxing, if it's gonna go out, it's gonna go out with a whimper. It's gonna go out slowly. It's gonna get deflated. It's not gonna be this major dramatic thing from one day to the next. Boxing survived 2 world wars, a whole bunch of corruption, the mob, bad decisions, Mike Tyson biting an ear off. I remember back in 2007, which is in 2 years, it's gonna be 20 years, by the way, the anniversary of De La Hoya Mayweather. What did they call it? The fight to save boxing. And I remember somebody said on Ring Magazine, somebody in Ring Magazine said, boxing doesn't need any saving. It's been around. It's a cockroach. I wish we could have a different term for it, but it's true. It's a cockroach. It's very difficult to kill boxing. I mean, listen, how many boxers die every year? And we have people mourn and they say, rest in peace. That's, let's give it up to our heroes, blah, blah. And then next week, we're watching another guy getting knocked out unconscious. So it's boxing is boxing. If it's going to go down, it's going to dissolve slowly because of the way the boxing, the structure comes along, and maybe there's lesser TV dates. And like I said, it wanes off. But this whole thing of, these guys are going to take over and they're going to destroy boxing, I don't see it. I have a hard time seeing it.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Arturo Gatti Jr., man. You heard what happened to Arturo Gatti's son?
Yes, he ended up, poor guy committing, he ended up, what's the word I'm looking for? Offing himself. Now, recognize, was that the son of the woman who allegedly murdered Arturo Gatti, or
Yes.
was that another one of his? Oh,
No, that was-
really?
What?
Yeah, it was hers.
The Brazilian one? The Brazilian chick?
The same girl, yeah.
No, but okay, this is fucking weird because
Whoa.
man, this is creepy. Because Arturo Gatti's official, what's his the official cause of death is what? Oh, he hung himself, right? Even though that's BS according to the other independent analysts. But that this dude who was the son of the girl who allegedly whacked him, for him to supposedly hang himself as well. I mean, that's fucking weird, man.
I mean, that could be true that he did that to himself. But man, imagine if she made that up, and that's like her karma. Like, let's say,
I was gonna say that.
Let's just assume she really loved her son. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? She loved him. I assume that she gave, she carried him for 9 months and then and brought him into the world. I'm gonna assume that there was some type of love. So let's just say she lied about the whole Arturo Gatti thing,
Right.
and that's how her son's life ended. Ooh, boy.
What if?
Yeah,
what
I
if-
looked at
what-
that.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead, man.
Okay, I was gonna say, what if he had the son had a feeling that her mother killed his father, and then somehow unconsciously to give her pain to make her pay, he kills himself.
Imagine he left a letter, like saying, "I know what you did to my father. Here's some payback."
Exactly,
Yeah.
a payback. That's the word. Yeah, could be. I mean, people do crazy things unconsciously, though, so it's possible.
Man, well, I mean, listen, that's the other thing, though. He's a Zoomer, and the way the country's going and civilization on the West, especially, there's not a lot of if you're looking for some upside, it's very easy for a young man to look at the way things are going and believe that he has no agency in the world, and that the only way out, the only way to resolve that is to off himself. That's sad, man. That's sad.
Yeah, so rest in peace to Arturo Gatti's son.
But that's the thing, though. So I read the Daily Mail article on that. Apparently, Chuck Zito, who used to be the bodyguard for Arturo Gatti, is the one who posted the news. But from what I understand, that's why I don't even know if that's really the guy. This kid, I don't. How do you know that's the kid of the Brazilian girl? Recognize?
I'm doing the math because when that kid was 17, the one that offed
Right.
himself,
Mm-hmm.
he was 17 years old. So what happened to Arturo Gatti was in 2009. That was 16 years ago, right?
Right.
So that kid was like 1.
Oh yeah.
It has to be.
Oh yeah, that might yeah.
Man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Man, that's fucking that's. But then it's interesting that Chuck Zito would be the one to pose it, because Chuck Zito was a friend of Arturo Gatti's, and he's one of those dudes that doesn't believe the official narrative. Like he again, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he seems to be in the Mickey Ward camp and all those other family friends of Gatti who believe that she may have that the Brazilian woman might have something to do with Gatti's death. So why would he be reporting that? I don't know. It's weird. I'm curious to see more details on this, but it's just a sad story overall.
Didn't Arturo Gatti got into a fight that night?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he
got a fight to a
Brazilians.
full
He was
bunch of-
knocking them out, and then somebody threw a bicycle on top of his head. He was all fucked up.
See, the one thing I know about the fight, right?
The after a fight happens, right after it happens, your adrenaline is still pumping. The last thing you're thinking about is killing yourself.
This is
unless-
speaking from experience.
Well, unless, right? Okay, and obviously this never happened to me, but I'm just using my imagination. Unless you went too far and you fucking killed a lot of people, and you're like, okay, life
It's
is
over.
over. Everybody
Yeah,
knows you did it. I'm not going out. I'm not gonna do the rest of my life in prison. That's not gonna happen, right? So that I could see that scenario happening. But a single fight where I knocked out a few dudes, something that I always do, right? For Gatti, you can imagine, like that came natural to him. Why would he kill himself? That doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, I remember Thunderdome was watching videos live. One documentary about the Gatti thing, and there was one here. It was a Canadian version, like 2020 Dateline, whatever.
Oh yeah.
That version, but and they were doing an in-depth reporting. Like what do they call it? Expose on that. And yeah, there's a lot of weird things with that Gatti death, and the fact that so apparently what happened was he was a love-hate relationship with a Brazilian woman. She was like 5'3", but she was fiery, and she was always picking a fight with the guy, and then they would have makeup sex, and then they would have another fight, and then Gatti was just tired of her. But somehow, I guess the pussy was just too good and too tight that she got him back. She got him all the way into Brazil, and then sure enough, they started fighting. So apparently, from what I remember, they were fighting that night, the night he died, and she was egging him on, from what I understand. Witnesses, blah 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 blah. He might have been a little bit inebriated, and then some Brazilians came out of a restaurant or something because they saw them fighting, and they go like, "Hey, ¿qué te pasando?" Like what's going on? And he ended up knocking some of them out. And I think, like Bucho said, somebody hit him over the head, I think,
with a bike.
And then somebody might have, but then remember, then they said, oh, he hung himself with a purse strap. But then the independent forensic analyst said that couldn't have held his weight. It would have snapped the way he was because apparently
on the rail.
Apparently, there was a stairway with the rails and wooden rails. And he took the strap, tied around that, and then tied around his neck. Supposedly, he ended up killing himself that way, like sort of like prison mode, right? That's what they do in prisons. But people say that the strap couldn't have held his weight. And then they found a wound on his head, on the back of his head, and they said, well, that's because when he fell. But apparently, he fell face forward. So how the fuck did he get? And then they say, well, was that the wound from earlier when the Brazilians attacked him? Or like, who knows, man?
Right. I mean, was there video footage of the fight?
No.
Wasn't there video?
I don't think so.
No. Not that I thought I heard that. But anyway, the other interesting thing is that his son, where this happened at, was in Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
What was he? Yeah. He was. I guess he was living in Mexico. Maybe with his mom. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's fucking weird, man.
I know she's Brazilian, and she lived in Canada. No.
Yeah.
I think she moved back to Brazil. Didn't she move back to Brazil? Because if she would have stayed in Canada,
she opened up a store.
Yeah.
She opened up a store, and then like a jewelry store, I think, after Gatti died. And apparently she was getting harassed or something like that, and she fucking closed that shit down. And then she bounced to Brazil.
Yeah, I was gonna say she would have stayed in Canada. That's behind enemy lines. Because again, from what I understand, Gatti's family loathes her because they believe that she's the one that got him whacked. Yeah. It's a difficult situation. What else we got, Bucho?
Well, somebody needs to mute. I think it's recognized.
Oh, my bad. Hold on.
Recognize is at the command center.
Yeah.
I'm about to watch the Yankee game.
It's baseball season. I thought baseball season isn't baseball season during the summer? What are they doing? The playoffs now?
Playoffs.
There you go. All right.
Playoffs. What do you want from me?
The evil Yankees. Nobody likes the Yankees. I don't even watch baseball, and I don't like the Yankees. I don't know why.
That's why I like. That's why I like them.
I thought Recognize was a Mets guy.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah. You lie. You pretend to be from the. I remember the subway.
I think Recognizes exact words were, "I love the Mets. Don't fuck with the Mets." I think that's what he said verbatim.
There's people that know me listening to you right now. They're going to be sending me dirty text messages.
Dirty? What does that mean? Dirty text message?
They're going to be like, "You motherfucker! I always knew you were a Mets fan."
Okay, hostile. Hostile text message.
Yeah, being that I'm from
hostile. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So
that's true. That's true.
People in the chat saying Dodgers all day. Dodgers. All these people.
Well, isn't they in Spanish? Don't they call them the Dodgers? The Dodgers. All the Mexicans call them the Dodgers.
Yeah.
You know what? I hate the Dodgers. They're originally from Brooklyn. Because they're originally from Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
That moved to LA. So, like, they, in my opinion, they've always been the enemy, right? In terms of, like, rivalries. They were from Brooklyn originally, and then they moved to LA. Two rivals of New York.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, baseball. People take their baseball seriously, man. And like, hey, wait a minute. Hey, hold on. You're saying the Montreal Expos, yeah? Because OG Blaze asked if we watched the Toronto Blue Jays, and Butcher, you brought up the Montreal Expos. Which one was Les Alouettes? I thought that was a team.
No, that's the football team, the CFL.
What the? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, Montreal Expos. When did they close shop? Was that in the 2000s or?
No, 96.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
They're the Washington Nationals now.
Yeah, they're Washington now. They're in Washington.
Oh, Washington. Well, we're talking Washington, like West Coast Washington, or?
Oh no, DC. DC.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. You know, I never really had much use for a baseball bat other than collecting, if you know what I mean.
In the
Sometimes people don't pay up, man. You gotta.
In the chat, OG Blaze says Dodgers beat the Yankees in the World Series. Deal with it.
Yeah, I already know that. Thank you, Mr. Obvious.
Hey, speaking of other sports, man, we got the FIFA U20 Cup thing. I think Japan is playing France, Butcher, so we gotta get through this show, man. I want to see how that ends.
You know who jinxed that World Series?
Who?
Fat Joe. Fat Joe.
Oh, Fat Joe?
Oh, you think
yeah.
it was like a... It's true. Compare... Who was the other guy who sang? Fuck. Ice Cube.
Ice Cube performed in L.A.
Way better.
I mean, 20 times better. Not even close.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. No, he disgraced the whole East Coast. Jesus.
I mean, I'm not from the fucking West Coast, but when you play Bow Down, right, and you got the whole fucking stadium jumping, and then Fat Joe, his little thing, like, get the fuck out of here. You can't even compare the two.
That was bad.
Well, is he fat still, or did he slim down?
No, he's not even fat.
That's the thing about Fat Joe now. Now he's like deflated Joe. So it makes it even worse.
He looks melted.
Yeah,
he looks melted. Oh, man.
He's like a candle. His body's like a candle. You ever see a melted candle?
Handsome Mechanic says, BDA, when are you doing a second Renaissance?
Very, very soon. In fact, yeah, we're going to start off because, again, it's the season to be spooky now. Halloween, October. And it's looking like October now here on the East Coast, Montreal. It's the leaves are falling. Everything's changing in colors. So it's the best time to do those Halloween shows. And incidentally, speaking of baseball, I want to talk about Chicago because some people say it's a cursed city. Believe it or not, we've heard about haunted cities. Haunted houses, cursed houses. Have people ever heard of a cursed city? So we're going to explore that. And the reason why I bring up baseball is because I don't know if people know this, but Chicago has a club, a team rather, a baseball team, the Chicago Cubs. And apparently they were cursed for a long, long time. So we're going to talk about all that, explore that issue. That's going to be the first episode in this Halloween series.
Yeah. I was going to say, people shouldn't forget that October 18th, Danny Garcia's retirement party. So he's having one last fight. Danny Garcia is fighting. I don't even know where he's fighting. I think it's in Philadelphia.
Recognize you got to go, man.
Yeah, you got to go.
Recognize you got to go.
Danny Garcia, Daniel Gonzalez. I don't know where it is. Let me check.
In Philly?
I thought he was in the Barclays, no? He wasn't at the Barclays?
Hell no. They're not going to fucking get the Barclays for this.
You think they can't fill it up?
No.
They can.
Yeah, I want
to. It says Brooklyn, New York. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Barclays. Holy shit. Oh my. I take that back.
Would it be for him to have it in Philadelphia?
Yeah, that's what
which I would not. I wouldn't go to that fucking shit town, but yeah.
Oh, come on. Wait a minute. It's the city of
Philadelphia. He's too good for Philadelphia, you know?
Yeah. That's New Yorkers. That's what they think. They got Philly, fucking Pennsylvania. Fuck Pennsylvania.
New Jersey. Fuck that shit.
I do feel bad for people who are from New Jersey.
Danny Garcia, I was gonna do a show about it, but then I was like, maybe it's not that important. But like his career, looking back at his career, how would you rate Danny Garcia's career?
A little bit above average. Like let's say, I thought he was a B-level fighter.
But B-level
overall.
Is that championship level fighter? I mean, he was a champion at 140, well, he had a belt at 147, I think, but he was truly a champion at 140 because he did beat Matisse, and a lot of people didn't give him a chance. And I remember a lot of people, that was 2013, undercard of Mayweather Canelo. he beat the shit out of Matisse. But then at
Well, I mean,
147,
shit.
There's
You're
good,
right.
there's good, there's great. Okay, so there's good, great, legend, and GOAT status.
okay.
Where would you put him at? Where would you put him at?
I mean, you started with good.
Right, so there's good, great.
Well, I mean, he's not great, so he's good, but
So is he in between good and great? Like he's in between there?
uh,
That's what I think.
yeah.
Well, listen, to put it into perspective, to get to the level where he was at, because he beat Matisse. So to me, there was no dispute that he was the best guy at the time. I get my timelines mixed up, but yeah, by that time, Bradley was already a welterweight. So Bradley wasn't a contender anymore at 140. Amir Khan, Danny Garcia did beat Khan in 2012.
Right.
Who's the only guy that Danny Garcia didn't fight? There was one guy at 140, I want to say. But anyway, I mean, look, listen, he beat Zab Judah, Eric Morales twice.
You never
Postal,
fought Postal, right?
nah,
Yeah, maybe.
Postal came out in 2015 when
Oh,
he
you're
beat
right.
Matisse.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
when he made.
Not like Danny Garcia left 140 in 2013, right? Or 2014.
Right, yeah.
So
He
boy,
fought
Apostle
Amir
came-
Khan, he fought Zab Judah, he fought Matisse.
Oh, Sub Judah. I know Sub Judah, by the way. It was a tough fight. Started to get complicated at
He
the
fought,
end.
he fought Mauricio Herrera. I mean, he has a pretty good resume
I
at
mean, he
140.
lost to Herrera.
At 140, he was top. He was the guy. He was. I mean, like I said, I gotta go back and see, but I do think he was undisputed. And again, my criteria for undisputed is not collecting a bunch of straps. It's did you beat the man, and did you make it clear that you were on this? You know, there was no dispute that you were the man. And I think he achieved that at 140, but then 147 just couldn't. Recognize, put up the levels. Great, legend, or GOAT, whatever. And it's true. Garcia was very good because he never got beat up. He competed. He gave Spence a good fight. He gave Thurman a good fight. He gave Sean Porter a good fight. But he lost those fights. So you can't give him credit for trying, right? I mean, I gave him a little bit credit saying, yeah, he's world class, but he wasn't the best at 147. He fell short. And, there were times where he, after the Errol Spence fight, he just stayed idle for a while. Let me check his record. Because they wouldn't keep these guys active by 2020. It was very difficult to keep some of these PBC guys active.
Yeah, this is going to hurt the legacy of a lot of these PBC fighters. The fact that they were inactive for long periods of time. And this is the case with Danny Garcia. Looking back.
Yeah, look at this. Sorry, real quick. Real quick. He fights Spence in December the 5th, 2020. And then you got to wait all the way to July the 30th, 2022 for him to fight Jose Benavidez Jr. Then they fought at middleweight, I think. Or some weird, Jose Benavidez Jr.
Yeah.
I think they fought a junior middleweight.
There you go. That makes no sense. And by the way, that's the other thing is, again, so one of you guys brought the PBC thing. Remember, De La Hoya and PBC parted ways in 2014. That was the exodus that happened. Look at what Danny Garcia was doing when Golden Boy was still in contention. They're calling the shots more or less in his career. He fights Nate Campbell. That's a good, little step up fight for a guy who only had 21 fights. Then he beats Kendall Holt, who was a dangerous puncher. He beats Eric Morales, beats Amir Khan, beats Morales again. That's when he stopped him in the rematch, beats Sab Judah, and then finally culminates that in 2013 by beating Lucas Matisse, who was people forget, Matisse and Golovkin, those were the guys that were looking like monsters. Well, Matisse, Golovkin, and Kovalev were the fucking boogeyman. They were knocking people out left and right. And like Bucho said, people really weren't giving Garcia that much of a shot at beating Matisse. I thought Matisse was going to beat him. And lo and behold, Garcia stuck to his guns, stood his ground, countered Matisse, brawled with him when he had to. And I think he dropped him as well, right, in that fight. And I mean, it got a little rough for him later on in the fight, but he still managed to pull off the win. So Garcia was a very good fighter when he was with Golden Boy. And then what happens when the PBC takes over? Rod Salka, Lamont Peterson, Paulie Malignaggi, Robert Guerrero. And I mean, okay, those are decent names, but the fuck were they waiting for to put him in there against Thurman right away?
Well, and then he didn't perform.
He kind of lost to Peterson too, man.
You know what? That was a very close fight. You're right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. And Danny Garcia didn't have the power that he had at 140. So
No.
I'm
That's a
talking
good-
about
yeah,
147. When he was at welterweight, he didn't have that power from 140. So he kind of started struggling, some of these guys, the higher competition. And then somebody mentioned the Lara fight. Obviously, that was a middleweight. But, can we really criticize Danny Garcia for that performance? I mean, I think he was washed at that point and not fighting in his weight division.
Oh, yeah, and that's true. And then Grim Reaper reminded me, they were calling him Danny Gift Garcia after the Herrera bout. Remember that? They shipped him to Puerto Rico and recognizes people. He's, recognized. I don't know. You should have done a little bit more to pump him up or something. I mean, we didn't know you back then, but he goes to Puerto Rico. Nobody cared. They're like, who is this guy? I'm
coming home. Remember the build up to the fight? They were showing the song. Like, I'm coming home. Like, he's coming home. He's from Philadelphia. Man. Like, what the fuck, home? Like, he didn't even speak Spanish.
There's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Philly too, right? Like in New York, or
oh, for sure.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay, there you go.
A lot.
Should have stayed in Philly.
Like it's a bad thing.
No. I'm
saying recognize.
Oh, okay.
No, you too.
No, I'm just they're like transplants from the Bronx. A lot of those Puerto Rican Phillies.
Which ones are the worst? New York, Puerto Rican.
When you say worse, when you say worse, it means that there's no there's no good. There's worse and there's bad, but that's what the fuck, man. Which ones are worse?
The best Puerto Ricans are from Puerto Rico.
Oh, right.
The worst Puerto Ricans are from probably the South Bronx or Philly.
Is it Coupe Alto, Puerto Rico?
From Coupe Alto, Puerto Rico.
I'm just saying that because I remember that one.
Yeah. Don King in the background. Viva Puerto Rico, viva Puerto Rico. Hey, but you know what though? Yeah, so the Danny Garcia Herrera fight, yeah, that was Herrera should have won that one. But I mean, look, there is a positive side to all of this. Garcia he could be proud of his career. Okay, was he the best? No, but he fought at the highest level. He competed at the highest level. And from what I understand, he made a lot of money.
Yeah.
From what I understand, he's made some good investments. So hats off to him, man.
He stayed there for a while, Eventually,
and he still seems
to
have his health.
At some point.
There you go. Not for us, though. As boxing fans,
the party keeps on going. The BDA party never ends.
BDA party.
All right, let's go through the news, I guess, here. Tyson Fury's comeback confirmed for 2026. So basically, Frank Warren saying that he confirms that the Gypsy King will return to the ring in 2026. He stated he wants to fight next year. And obviously, people are already speculating who he will fight. And they're saying that it's going to be a AJ fight, Anthony Joshua fight, the fight that everybody wants to see, or everybody wanted to see at some point. They're going to probably make that fight next year. What do you think about that fight? Fury, Joshua. Interested? Good fight?
Well, the Brits are going to eat it up.
They both washed up at this point,
Yeah,
but you got AJ. AJ got knocked the fuck out. Tyson Fury lost twice to Usyk. So they kind of like on the down, they're sliding down on their career. They're not at their best anymore. So it should be a good fight still.
You know what? Bucho asked that question. Will you guys be interested? And I say, hell yes. Now, again, I don't think it's going to be the most entertaining fight, but it's a fight that I'm intrigued. I've always wanted to see how that would end up. For a while, we had that fight on the crosshairs, right? Remember that 2021? And then Wilder and that arbitration guy or whatever, the judge who all of a sudden decided to rule his way. It's like, no, you got to rematch, have the rubber match with Fury. So we never got to see that one happen.
Yeah.
So it could have happened 4 years ago. Now, the interesting thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Fury say he was going to retire? Or he said he was retired, right? After the Usyk rematch? Didn't he say that?
Yeah. He said, I don't know how many times. He said it so many times. I don't even know.
That's what I was going to ask. How many times has this guy retired? Why, at this point, why even retire? If you're at this point, just after every fight, just go, all right, we'll see what happens. Because this whole thing of I'm retired, okay, or the opposite, double down. Let him say he's retired and nobody bat an eyelash. I think that's what we got to do with him. Because after every fight, remember he even did it after the White fight. It's been a good run, but I think it's time to end it on a high note. It's like, what the fuck? We all knew you were going to retire after the White fight. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Good run. I beat the little midget Usyk.
Well, the worst one is, okay, listen, do you want to say did he believes he won the first fight. I can go with that. I don't think he won the first fight. I thought he won it, but it was competitive, right? But then the rematch, it's like, I only lost it because of politics. What the fuck? This dude. I mean, obviously,
which fight was closer? The first one, the first Usyk fight, or the second one?
The first one.
I think the first one was more. Yeah, I thought it was more competitive.
Because he actually won rounds in the first one. The second one, after 4 rounds, he got tired and he was just on the defensive.
You're right.
Yeah, he wasn't doing shit.
But I wanted to say though that the AJ Fury fight, I would still be interested. For a fact the Brits are going to be interested. In the Brits, they can make anything seem entertaining with the build up and the hype. And I mean, look at fucking Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. It was just a grudge match, and they turned it into a mega event. Look at all the people that showed up. They filled up at the stadium.
Okay, yeah, you're right. The build up, they showed up, they were pumped up, and then the fight delivered actually. So it made for a great event, a great build up, and a great
you know
fight.
why else?
Yeah.
You know why else I want to see it? I want to see what's his name? Fuck, I can't believe his name just slipped my mind. The Fury fan from a Discord. Olaf.
Oh, Olaf.
I want to see Olaf because he's been saying for years that Fury would beat Joshua. Now, granted, he said the same thing about Fury versus Usyk, but Joshua and Usyk. So this is a fight that I want to see just for the build-up. Look at what happened with Crawford Canelo. We need something like that again to pump up the sales, like you said, put some wind on the sales, because right now it's fucking dry. I mean, who's really that excited for Haney versus Norman? So I think that fight is just what the doctor prescribed. Now, the one thing, though, that I do worry about is Frank Warren, the bullet dodger, is saying, Fury's going to come back. He's going to come back. Yeah, but against whom? Why are we assuming it's going to be Joshua? Never put it past Fury to do whatever the hell he wants. So what if he takes a tune-up and they try to market it as, it's a big, the Ngannou rematch? Would you be surprised if it's an Ngannou rematch?
No, yes, I would be surprised. I don't think, I really do think this is going to be an AJ fight. And apparently, Turki Al-Sheikh is actively pushing for this fight. So if he wants it, he might get it. I don't think Turkey would be interested in anything other than that. Seriously.
You're right.
Who else do we have in here?
But that's if the Sheikh is involved. That's if the Sheikh is involved.
Well, I think that's the whole reason why Fury's coming back. I mean, Fury's coming back for money. That's all. Let's not kid around here. This guy only comes back for money, and the money is with an AJ fight. There's nothing else.
Oh, excuse me.
Bucho, speaking of money.
Yes.
Real quick. You're talking about fights, people coming back. The other guy I forgot to mention, Gypsy Boxing. He's going to come back for that one if Fury AJ happens. But go ahead, Silvers. What's up, man?
I'll say, speaking of money, did you get that 200 BDA? That should cover me for the rest of the month, right?
I saw that. Yeah, just for people that don't know what we're talking about. Sobers, Sobers, you got to read How to Make Friends and Influence People, the book, because I mean, you keep going around making enemies with everybody. You were going at it with Matt Chat during the months of September. Now you're going at it with Black and Brown, and I like both of you. So I don't want to get in the middle.
Because look, if you take a good look at them, they look similarly. They look very similar. So I realized Black and Brown's really Matt Chat's son. So he's just sticking up for his dad. So you know what I mean. I really didn't say anything about the dude. I didn't even know he still goes live. BDA. I didn't even know he still goes live. But then, we got a lot of fingers and a lot of pies. The little trolls like to run information back and forth. They're saying, "Oh, he's talking about you." So I've just responded. You know what I mean? That's it. And yeah, bro.
Well, for people that don't know, I was going to say too as well that the context is that Sobers was going at it with TBS and who else? Were you going with 152 on that?
Yeah, that's another dude. I didn't even know he had a problem with me. Like, I don't even who the fuck is that guy? And then there was Cold Sore Cosmic, right? He had the angry dude's mad at me because he has herpes on his lip. It's not my fault.
Come on. But anyway, yeah, somebody then mentioned, because TBS has been going around saying that Sobers pays to get on this show. And listen, I like TBS too. I don't want to get in the middle of this guy. TBS and Sobers have been going at it for months now, and I stay away from it. I don't want to get in the middle. But this whole concept of whenever they bring up, he pays Sobers pays BDA and Pucho to get on the show. Like, how does that conversation start? I would be curious to see how that conversation would have started. Like he can, legally. I don't know if people know this, but this Shapiro always tells me you cannot demand money from people. So how would the conversation go? Like, Sobers would have to say indirectly, like, "Hey, man, I really like your show, man. You should do more shows, man. Because when I was in there with you guys, I had a lot of fun. So you should do more shows." So that's the code word for he's telling me, "Listen, I want to be more in the show. How do we work this out?" And then I'd go, "I don't know, man. It's like I'm building a deck, and I'm building a deck here in my front yard."
Swiss bank account transfer.
Yeah, but listen, I don't know. Yeah, Sobers. The thing about Sobers is, I suspect, this is my prediction. Sobers is making enemies, but it's like that old saying: making enemies and then making friends. That's going to be the never sober story.
Yeah, I'm not so much the one to kiss and make up. So I don't know about all that shit, but
you're the guy kiss and make up. It sounds like you're getting a sexual assault or something.
Anyways, fuck, what are we talking about? I don't know how we're trying to hold
I mean, that's
I don't know, like, guys. Like you
I
said,
might.
there's not.
I might BDA. Goddammit, I might.
come on, listen.
Yeah, there's not.
Yeah, just keeping people, just updating people on what's going on in the YTBC streets.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like, listen, like you said, after that Canelo, and somebody said in the chat as well, it's like after the Crawford Canelo fight, things went to shit. Like nobody's really that interested.
Like a big wet fart.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is, though. It's
Bucho? My bad. Go ahead, BD.
Go ahead, sorry. I'm on a delay.
I was gonna say, so look, after that fight was supposed to happen, and we were supposed to be talking about, okay, Canelo got X amount of fights left on his contract, 2 more. Who's next? Benavidez, Shiraz. You know what I mean? There's a couple of names that you can start. Chris Eubank. There's names, right?
Yeah.
And now that Crawford won, no one even expected him to continue his career after that fight, win or lose, right? We were all saying he's probably gonna retire no matter what. So you don't even know what to talk about with him, right? Maybe a rematch. People are like, rematch. I want to see a rematch, but I hear other people going, for what? I mean, who else is he gonna fight? He's not gonna fight David Benavidez. He's not gonna fight any of these guys at 168. He's talking about going to 160, right? And he's talking about he needs $100 million guaranteed to fight who?
No.
Johnny Beck? Like, are you fucking retarded? That's not gonna happen, bro.
He's gonna look for a rematch.
So it's just like it kind of is like it's just like you don't know what the fuck to say now, right? Because it's like, there's who's pushing the sport now, right? Canelo was a face, and now people are saying Canelo should retire, whoopie whoop. And now that he's not pushing the sport, I mean, it's definitely not gonna be Crawford. Who else can it be? And that's why it's there's this void.
Yeah, look,
it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing, Bucho, when the biggest fight in boxing now is Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. That's the biggest fight.
How is that a bad thing, though? How is that a bad? No, excuse me. How is that a bad thing? I mean, come on, Jake Paul. No, I'm kidding. Now,
yeah.
You know what's interesting though is that Canelo Crawford that Canelo Crawford fight really took the wind out of everyone's sails, man, because we were all so pumped up. So then afterwards, it's like nothing can compete with that in terms of hype anymore. I mean, listen.
Yeah,
when
go ahead. Sorry, fucking delay.
No, go ahead.
No, but some people were saying like, oh, you guys aren't pumping videos like crazy or going live every fucking day or something like that because Canelo lost. I'm like, that's because like Never Sober's just explained it. There's really nothing to talk about. Like, well, what are we talking about? Crawford? Who's he gonna fight next? A rematch?
Well, we did. We already talked about that. We did 3 shows post fight.
We did 2 shows post fight.
3 shows.
But
3 shows.
I don't know. People expect us to talk about this every fucking single day. It's like Crawford's not that exciting. He's never been exciting.
He's boring.
He's boring even before that. I mean, this isn't. Oh, we're not just saying this because he beat Canelo. We've been saying this since before even the Canelo fight was announced. That Crawford is not a draw for a reason. And we're not gonna turn. Like, we can't turn him into a draw all of a sudden at 38 because he beat Canelo. Like, no, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, just because you beat Canelo. Yeah, what do they say all the time? Just because you beat the A side doesn't make you the A side. Now I'm looking at the schedule here. That the only fight that I'm interested in that's taking place is Yoeli Hernandez is fighting this Saturday too. Oh no, when is that? No, on Sunday. He's fighting on Sunday on the Zone. So okay, maybe that sounds that guy's entertaining. He's one of those Cuban guys who actually comes forward. Then, like you said, Bucho, we got the Danny Garcia versus Daniel Gonzalez swan song, and then we gotta wait all the way to October 25 for Joseph Parker versus Fabio. That's what I don't even call Fabio Worley by his last name, by the way. I'm eschewing my rule here of only addressing fighters by their last name, and I'm gonna call Fabio just Fabio because I like that name, Fabio. Hey, Fabio. So Parker versus Fabio. October the 25th. That's the one that I'm looking forward to the most out of this last couple of 3 weeks we have. Fundor versus Keith Thurman. I mean, that's pay-per-view on top of that. So yeah, man. I mean, fucking October after Canelo Crawford. Okay, we had Inoue right away versus MJ. That was for an Inoue fight, that was kind of uneventful too. It was boring to say the least. And that's all we've had. We had Oscar Collazo fight. Apparently, he had a bit of a tough fight, and I mean, it's fucking been, like I said, that Canelo Crawford was so hyped up that everything else now pales in comparison.
I'm putting a picture of Fabio, who's fighting Parker.
Fabio. What was that dude? What was that dude's real name, by the way? He wasn't just Fabio, right?
In the early 90s, I think, or early 80s, probably. I don't remember.
Didn't he get thrown in prison for human trafficking or something? Or am I making that up?
Maybe. He looks like a human trafficker.
You never know.
Yeah,
he looks like he used to be friends with Epstein or something.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good fight. Wardley, Fabio, but it's not a big fight. It's not, I mean, I posted a video about that fight, but yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah. Who do you guys think wins that one? Parker versus Fabio?
Parker.
I would like to see Fabio Wardley win because he's like a younger dude, a little bit younger. So we want to see some new blood going up. But I don't like the idea of Parker hanging around, the top 5, getting these wins and then not getting a title shot. You know what I mean? So, but I would like to see, I guess, Wardley. We need some new blood, bro. We need some new blood in the division. They need to start kicking these older guys out. Because what's going on when you got the older dudes still beating up on the younger guys, like the next generation? That's not how the sport's supposed to work.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, okay, Fabio, he's a younger guy, but he's not even that.
Wait, how old
I said a little bit younger. A little bit, he's like 30, right?
So how old is Young?
He's like
Young. How old is Young? How old is Fabio? Because I'm reading fucking comments. Parker is young. No, how old is Parker? Parker's 30 something.
Fabio's 31, right? Yeah, I think Fabio's 31 and Parker's 35. I think 34, 35.
Oh shit.
Hey, speaking of heavyweights, real quick, man. Back to here, Jalalov, who I think he's got 2 gold medals, right? 31 years old. He's 6 feet 7 inches tall, so he's about my height, I think. He looked like crap, apparently. I haven't seen the whole fight. I only saw what people posted on the Discord. Yeah.
I saw the fight. He looked like hot shit. He looked like hot, wet dog shit. It was only an 8-rounder. He was almost completely gassed after the 4th. In the 5th, he went down from a jab, plus exhaustion. The only reason the ref didn't start counting is because the guy went a little overkill and he kind of gave him a little hook to the side of the head while he took a knee. And then he ended up taking a point from that guy, right? And he didn't do no 10 count.
Oh.
But the dude, he hit him and then Jalalov went down, right? It should have been a knockdown. But then almost immediately afterwards, Jalalov is right there holding on for dear life because he's so tired that the ref ends up taking a point from him for holding. And the guy he was fighting, you could tell he was just there. He's just there like a worker, right? He's just there to like a jobber, right? He's just there to go to a couple rounds with him. Because he was hardly throwing any punches the whole fight. But he almost beat this dude by not throwing any punches and just coming to the inside and like grappling with him. Jalalov was exhausted, dude. And he looked like he was completely lost in there. Let's see that Kiki Torres rematch. I mean, let's see a professional fight, not a rematch. Let's see a professional bout between them now. I'm ready. To see it.
10-ounce gloves. But I want to see a referee that won't let them clinch because, again, that fucking Thomas Taylor or whatever his name is, he started out well in the Torres versus Vianello fight, taking a point away from Vianello and harshly reprimanding him, saying, hey, stop with the clinching. And then after that, which was, I believe, the 3rd or 4th round, all of a sudden he stops reprimanding the guy for the clinching, but he's still clinching. So why were you warning the guy and taking a point away in the first 4 rounds, but then afterwards it's okay? So is there some sort of rule that says that if a guy makes it past the 4th round, he can clinch all he wants? It was stupid, man. And I'm watching this Jalalov versus Vitali fight, or Kudukuv, or whatever the guy's name was, the jobber, as you call him. And yeah, Jalalov is just moving around the ring, pity-patting, like he's still in the Olympics. Listen, this dude, he should just go back to the Olympics again, get a 3rd gold medal, man, because at the pros, he hasn't really been looking all that hot. And on top of that, remember, Jermaine Franklin won a fight, right, on the Canelo Crawford undercard. Do you guys think Jalalov could beat Jermaine Franklin? Look, based on the way he looked in his last fight?
I don't think he could go 12 rounds, based on how he looked in his last fight. If that was a 10-round fight, 12-round fight, I'm saying the other guy might have just beat him because Jalalov wouldn't be able to answer the bell. He was completely spent. So maybe he'll look better in his next fight, dude, but it just looked like, I don't know, like he didn't even have stamina to go 8 rounds. The guy wasn't throwing any punches and he was beating him up.
Why was this an 8-rounder though? Did he take this fight at the last minute or something? And he said, yeah, let's have a little 8-rounder. Maybe that's what he...
No, because he knows he couldn't handle anything more than that. He barely could handle 8.
Okay, so you're of the opinion that they set up the fight for 8 rounds because that's all he's got.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Sobers, I'm watching the third round here because I'm sort of like fast forwarding. He's already, I'm in the third round. He's already holding on for dear life, not like a little clinch, like okay until the ref separates us and then I step back right away. No, he's holding on and waiting for the referee to actually pry them apart. Already in the third round, the guy's got shit stamina.
That's what I'm saying. Terrible performance. Like, yeah, that Olympic, that 3-round shit that definitely doesn't translate to pros for everybody. So.
Okay, then let me ask you guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, that's the question. Then we'll move on to something else.
Well, then, okay, about the Uzbeks, because a lot of these Uzbeks now, they're taking gold medals in the Olympics, and then when they go to the pros, they're not really translating all that well. And somebody had once said in jest that the Uzbeks are the new Cubans, like they're the Central Asian Cubans. Do you guys agree with that, the way things are going with the Uzbeks?
Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about lack of excitement, then they're up there with the Cubans.
And by the way, I'm looking at this fifth round. The guy gets clipped. Jalalov gets clipped with a jab, and he went down from a little jab.
Yep, that was a knockdown, right, BDA? The referee tried to make it seem like it was a push down.
Yeah, I thought it was a right hand, first of all. It was a little jab. The guy, like, he's standing in front of this dude, and he's got his hands down in mid-range. It's like, what the fuck? That's a weird fight, man. I wonder if I'm going to look it up. Did he make an excuse or something afterwards? Like, hey, listen, I wasn't ready. Last minute.
Wait, for people who just joined the show, which fight are you talking about, and what was the result?
Yeah, okay. Bakodir Jalalov, the heavyweight 6'7" tall guy from Uzbekistan. I think he's a 2-time gold medalist. He fought yesterday or the day before in one of those IBA cards from Russia, or whatever they're from. And he fought this like Sobers said, a jobber. You know, it's like this shorter, stocky heavyweight guy who was just there to give him a couple of rounds. But it turns out that the guy came to pressure. He wasn't really throwing that much, but he was pressuring a lot. And Jalalov was clinching. This dude dropped Jalalov with a jab. And then Jalalov, apparently from what Sober said, got a point taken away from him late in the fight for clinching.
Yeah, it's immediately after that. BD, after they stand him back up, and Jalalov just starts hanging on to him again, and the referee just takes the point.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fight. He looks horrible, and it's the fifth round. This is the dude that was this dude knocked out Richard Torres in the amateurs. What was in the first fight or in the second one?
I think their first fight, and then the rematch for the gold medal, and Richard Torres lost the decision, I think.
Right. Okay. So, because people were saying, "Oh, Jalalov, man, with his height and his control of distance, he's going to be very difficult to beat." 2-time gold medalist, but he's looking like he can't even handle 5 rounds of good fighting. So, I don't know, man. People in the Discord were saying, "Hey, man, he should have got. If Emmanuel Stewart were still around, he'd turn him into the next best thing." I doubt it, man, because Klitschko looked better pre-Stewart than this guy is looking early in his career. So he doesn't. I don't think he's got it, man.
What the fuck did Stewart teach Klitschko, Vladimir Klitschko, how to clinch?
That's right.
Yes.
Really? What do you mean, yes? I think he told me not to throw everything, to pace yourself.
Go to the body and then clinch. Okay.
You know what? Recognize always surprises me with these impersonations, man. He just when you think he's got no more any more left, he comes out with
that was all right. Crispy punches. Very crispy punches.
Yeah, he's throwing the crispy punches. When he would get angry, that was the best, especially with Klitschko. You gotta knock the motherfucker out. What are you doing?
With Tyson too.
You keep pulling on.
With Lewis Tyson as well. Remember? You gotta knock him out. The referee. Something about the referee seeing it or something.
Take it to him. Yeah, he's losing his fucking mind. That Lewis Tyson play.
Somebody, you know what?
Yes.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, just gonna talk about Aitauma. In the news.
Another
Aitauma could fight. Oh no, ruled out. What? They were talking about him fighting Derek Chisora.
Yeah.
What will not happen? Okay, why did I write this? The fight's not happening. Why did I write all this shit? Okay, the fight's not happening. Okay, forget it.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
Well, what do you mean, recognize? You think he's not ready for Chisora?
Well, would it be Chisora backing off, or would it be him? I see Chisora doesn't care. He's already lost.
No, apparently he was asking for $3.5 million, and Frank Warren says this is totally nuts. Totally nuts.
Okay. Then it's
You know what's
Chisora's
totally
price.
nuts? You know what's totally nuts? Getting shot in the head and still surviving.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Frank Warren did. But yeah, I mean, listen, Chisora is old and he's a come forward fighter, so you would expect Aitama to, that's the type of fight Aitama wants. But the worry here for Aitama would be, okay, let's say you can't take this guy out within the first 3 rounds like you're doing with everybody else. Do you have a Jalalov gas tank and then you start clinching, or do you have the gas tank to keep going and looking good and stop the guy eventually, or do you turn out to be another Jalalov and you can only go there for a good 3-4 rounds before you start need to hold on? So I don't know. It would be a risk, man, especially since Chisora, he'll take guy. I mean, like, look at what he did with Otto Wallin, younger guy, but he out-hustled him and outworked him. And that gas tank, again, you cannot discount a good gas tank and a good amount of resolve, which Chisora still has at his advanced age. So, but I'm surprised that Chisora priced himself. I mean, again, Chisora's near the end of his career, so I understand why he would have asked for that amount of money. But at some point, it's like, come on, man, how did you really expect to get that amount of money?
Maybe he doesn't want that fight. I mean, Chisora Dubois would provide both guys with a good payday. Why take on fucking? I mean, this guy Aitama might retire Chisora for good.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know.
So who did they say who's Aitama's got in his crosshairs or?
Negative. No, what I wrote. No.
Oh, what?
No, I don't see anything here. We'll have to.
You said negative in the wrong. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, listen, Aitama, I'm excited, man, because Aitama, he really does look sensational so far. He's already got a bunch of hype. So, of course, you know how the Brits are, man. If this dude keeps performing, they're going to fill up stadiums for him, and we're going to have another major star on our hands. But then the question becomes, should he fight Otto Wallin? Wouldn't that be a good fight? Because Wallin doesn't really have that much heart, to put it mildly.
That's true. I mean, we'll remember that Fury fight. But we also remember that AJ fight, right? So,
right.
Two different.
But even some of the fights he won, like against, didn't he beat Dominic Brazil? He beat somebody, and he looked really bad in those fights.
You're right.
Oh, and he fought what's his name, the cruiserweight guy, the guy that Usyk beat in the final of the Gassiev. Yeah, he fought Gassiev too. So I mean,
right.
he didn't really look all that great either.
More news here. Anthony Joshua's potential comeback in Nigeria. In Nigeria.
Oh. Wait a minute.
Early 2000.
So Anthony Joshua going back to Nigeria, but I thought you said Fury. Yeah, that was your speculation.
This is from Sky Sports. This is from Sky Sports exclusive. Exclusive. Monday, October the 6th. It says former world champion Anthony Joshua is being lined up for a comeback fight in Nigeria in early 2025. Nigeria. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, here we go. Heavyweight against potential heavyweight contender Martin Bakole. An all-out African. Well, I mean, Joshua's from the UK, but, you know, Martin Bakole from Africa. I don't know which country.
Congo versus Africa. Wait. Bakole just recently fought another Nigerian. It was a draw, right? Was it a draw? Yeah. Well, it shouldn't have been, but yeah, it was a draw. Does he have something against Nigerians? Are Congolese people known as Nigerian hunters, or what's going on here?
I think they all envy Nigeria.
I don't know their politics and their beef over there.
Well,
yeah, who knows? We need to get an expert on it.
Fight. But we're in Nigeria. Okay.
No, you know what's interesting about that? Well, it's probably in some sort of football stadium, but
yeah,
that's an interesting fight, man, because I think it's a winnable fight for Joshua. Because if you would have asked me, hey, who wins between Joshua and Bakole, and if you would have asked that question a year ago, right after Bakole decimated Jared Anderson, I would have said, and that was around the time, I think it was, what was it, a month later when Joshua got brutalized by Dubois. So if you would have asked me around that time in the fall of 2024, like, hey, who do you pick, Bakole or Joshua? I would have said, fucking Bakole, man. But now that Bakole hasn't looked too hot, especially he had time to train in his last fight against the Nigerian guy that we just mentioned. Sorry, I don't know why his name is slipping me. And he still looked like crap in there. Ajagba, yeah, thank you. Ajagba. He looked like shit against Ajagba. He fought in spots. He didn't really look anywhere near as sharp as he used to. So maybe Joshua figures, hey, this dude is hot and cold. If I catch him cold, I can come back and then people are gonna say, "Whoa, he beat Bacoli, he stopped Bacoli, holy smokes!"
Yep. Yeah, no,
I think it's a smart move.
It's an interesting fight. I'd rather see AJ Joshua. I think most people would agree with me.
AJ versus Joshua,
right? People in the chat, maybe they don't. By the way, guys in the chat, hit the like,
hit the like. Fury, Bucho.
What did
AJ Fury.
AJ Joshua. Yeah,
AJ Joshua.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at that. I'm not even paying attention to what the fuck I'm saying. Yeah, AJ.
I know, man. You know what it is, though? We're rusty. That's why. That's why I was forgetting a Jaguar's name too.
You gotta knock that ring rust off, Bucho and BDA.
Yeah, ring rust. I'm gonna get knocked out in the second round. They're gonna get knocked out in the second round.
Get 2 rounds in.
He's dry.
You guys are both acting like Jalalov right now, bro.
That's the worst
fucking head of the game, bro.
What was
well, you know why we haven't stayed sharp. Sober has stayed sharp though in these last 3 weeks, going at it with everybody.
I'm saying, bro.
Oh, you're right. That's the thing. He's getting a fight.
I'm happy, bro.
He's in the doghouse. He's been in the doghouse.
He's in the doghouse.
Been in the trenches.
Where's people?
Cheap night.
Free Nigeria. What are they? Are they not free right now? What's going on?
What do you have? You have some terrorists. He's Boko Haram.
But
yeah.
You know, it's interesting though. For people, because I think we're about the 2 hour, 15 minutes away from a 2 hour mark here. Mm-hmm. Just to remind people to hit the like. Well, we're gonna be, as the boxing season continues, and finally we got more and more fights. We got more shows planned. 2 interesting shows that we could talk about in the near future. One of which is going to be Garcia's comments about Gennady Golovkin. That should be an interesting one. Maybe Bucho, I think that's a good phone line show, right?
Yes, I think it's controversial. So yeah, we should talk about that.
Very controversial.
That was blasphemy.
You're not a Garcia fan anymore? Not that you ever.
You guys already covered it though.
About what?
Earlier, you guys talked about Pacheco leaving the Benavidez team.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, let's get your thoughts on this.
Well, my thoughts on this is I'm glad you guys don't remember, because I remember telling you guys I had a source that got BDA says I got a lot of finger and a lot of pies. I got a lot of operatives in different spaces. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? My sphere influence is wide and reaches far. You know what I mean? So I had a source that told me about this months ago, and they hit me up. They hit me up saying, "Hey, did you see that news that Pacheco's leaving?" Right? And I was like, "I sure did." Right? And he was like, "Yeah." Like, last time I told you couldn't use a name, but I'll give you a name that you can use now, right? So the source, he just said, just call him Ernesto. Okay?
Ooh.
So whenever I got some news coming down the pipe from about the Benavidez camp, whatever, maybe Pacheco, who knows what, it'll come through maybe from Ernesto. And like I said, another thing that I said that he told me before, he also told me about that Pacheco news that he was going to leave the Benavidez camp. Look, y'all probably don't remember, but I said that shit here. And I was making a joke and shit, right? Because I'm always being funny. You're like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Because I also said that this guy seen that Jose Sr. directly injecting David in the ass with steroids. And I wasn't playing, bro.
Source has these little birds. Like Game of Thrones.
That's right.
Little birds. All right. Recognize. Yeah.
Wait, stand down and stand by for more information coming down the pipeline eventually. But yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
Couldn't they pick a different place to shoot him up with steroids?
Yeah, what's he gonna be up the ass, man?
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, man. No, I'm not surprised. I mean, look how big Pacheco is. He could fight Benavidez one day.
Yeah.
Why would you want to stay with that fucking team?
Hey, by the way, we got this. Sorry.
No, I'm pretty sure that Jose Benavidez is more interested in his son's career than Pacheco. That's all I will say with that.
Well, I was gonna say recognize, because we were talking about that earlier. It's like Pacheco against the right opponents, he's looked good, like against Coceres and against Zulensky, whom he knocked out with a body shot. But then when he fights, the last fight really was the one that disappointed me. He fights Macumbi, right? Food TV calls him the Cum. Apparently that's his nickname.
Jesus.
He fights the Cum, and Caleb Plant was able to beat the Cum and stop him. He was able to stop the Cum, but what's his name? Pacheco couldn't do it. And I'm thinking, why Pacheco fights with his hand, one of his hands down, recognize. Shooting a guy like that, tall, lanky, try to fight a little bit like Margarito and at least put his hands up and pressure.
Yeah, unless you're fucking super duper fast, which he doesn't give me that, he
Exactly.
doesn't have that. He's fast, but not like that, I don't like it. I don't know. He's shown moments where he's got a bright future, but then he looks pretty average when at times. What was that fight with Gumby?
The Cum, yeah.
That fight, yeah. He got caught a lot of shots in that fight, didn't he?
Well, it was disappointing. Well, I don't remember how much. I don't think he really got caught that much, but it was disappointing because like Caleb Plant was able to stop that dude, and yeah.
In fairness to Pacheco, McCombie was dropping fucking Caleb Plant.
That's true.
Was dropping his. I mean, he stopped him, but he was dropping his ass.
That's a good point. So I mean, at some point you go, okay, well, what do you like? Do you like the guy who beat him cleanly by decision, but really didn't put a hurting on him, or do you like the guy got dropped but put a hurting on the guy? And, I don't know. It's just if Pacheco wants to be the next best thing at super middleweight, he's gonna have to know how to apply pressure and take guys out of there because him trying to outbox people, he's not even that great a boxer. It's gonna be trouble.
A good man always knows his limitations.
That's right. Speaking of limitations, we got this new feature here where you can post a Q&A in the comment section.
What?
So if you click the plus icon next to the chat box, it says start Q&A, start a poll. And I started a Q&A and I said that subject was, is Never Sober's BSing about his sources? And so far people haven't seen the message.
Don't they call him La Voz?
Yeah, he's got a bunch of what do you call them, throwaway phones in his drawer. He's a prepaid phone. They call him La Voz. He's the one that organizes every time. I think the guy that when Canelo's brother got kidnapped, I think that was Sober's guy who was involved in that song. We can't prove it, but that's what
Whoa.
See, he didn't deny it. He just said whoa.
So give me that brand. Give me some of that money. Give me that Canelo page.
Give me some of that money. Oh man. But hey, Bucha, what else we got? Any other news?
We got a Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis, former heavyweight champion, says advises Alexander Usyk to retire on top. Former heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis has advised the current undisputed heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk to consider retiring while he's still at the peak of his career. Blah 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 blah. Lewis's key advice was for Usyk to retire at your own time. Oh, whatever. Anyways, retire on top. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's always the best way to do it. But a lot of these dudes, they want to if they like knocked out the last opponent, and then they don't look like they're slipping, they're not going to retire, bro. Especially when there's a lot of fucking money involved. Like he can still make money for the Parker fight, maybe Caballao.
And if the point is to retire on top, it's not like he's in danger of losing anytime soon. If you look at the heavyweight division that we have right now, it looks like he can fight any of these guys and beat them. And so he can retire just after making more money. Again, his career is not in danger. I don't see any of these guys beating him.
Yeah, right now, no.
Because when it came to Lennox Lewis, he saw what was coming. And his last fight was Vitaly Klitschko, who a lot of people think he was beating his ass, right? He only won because Klitschko had a massive ass fucking cut over his eye. So, yeah, maybe he's like, you know what? I think this is time to leave. I can retire on top. If I rematch Vitaly Klitschko, I might lose. So, bye-bye. But when it comes to Usyk, like, is he really in danger of losing?
Well, I mean, I guess depends on what you like. I mean, some of these guys are obsessed with going out with a loss, but like Rick and I said, most of these guys, the reason why they end up going out with a loss is because they don't know all it quits, because especially the top guys, they'll look bad in 2 fights, or maybe they'll lose a couple of fights, but then they'll get that one big win. And instead of going out on that big win, they go, oh, I still have it. So that's the double-edged sword of boxing, is that these older guys, they know they're losing it, but they still feel like they have some of it to keep on going and beating these younger guys. So that's why when they say boxing, you don't retire, it retires you. meaning it has to beat the crap out of you for the boxer to finally realize, oh, I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, you can never. I mean, and they say, you know what, that when you're old, things can change from one fight to the next, right? But when it comes to Usyk, has he looked like he's been slowing down? In your opinion?
A little bit, but that's the other thing that I keep telling people, wait, perfection's for losers. You know what? If I were a boxer, I would keep going and going and going until if I were going until I finally lost. And when you finally lost, okay, maybe I'll try to rematch the guy that beat me. And if I can't beat him, then I retire. Go out with a loss. Who cares? Look, it doesn't devalue everything you did beforehand.
Yeah,
that's what I would do. Fuck perfection.
In the Shitling distributor in the chat says Lewis doesn't want Usyk to beat more people. He doesn't want Usyk to beat more of his people.
More of his fellow Brits. I mean, that's what people say, right? They make memes about Usyk beating up all the Brits, but I mean, you can't devalue the Brits if you, with those memes, because then you devalue Usyk. But
I mean, you have a lot of Brits in the heavyweight division because there's nobody else. I mean, nobody.
Exactly.
Where are the American heavyweights? I mean, we had, what was his name again? Jaron Anderson.
Jared Anderson.
He fucked up. Torres.
Well, that's the thing.
Where the fuck is Torres?
Well, that's the other thing. When people say, "Well, all the Americans, the NBA and the NFL now." I mean, what the NBA and the NFL existed back in the 70s and all the way up to the 90s. So I mean, there was no problem there. It's just I think it's a lot of factors. It's just the gyms. You know, the gyms used to get some subsidies. They used to be subsidized by the government, I think. I don't think there's many of those around. So I think that's one big factor, too. Not that there's no talent.
I think I know
all the talent is going.
I think I know where the money is going. Is that where you were going with this story?
Not really, but I don't know where you're going. But just real quick, I mean, this whole thing of, well, it's because these guys, there's no American boxers anymore because they're all in the NFL. First of all, the NFL, they're not really made for boxing. It's the leaner, longer NBA types. Those would be, that would be it.
Yeah.
And so you're telling me that all these good, well, just because they're athletic doesn't mean that they would be good boxers. You got to be able to take a punch to be a good boxer. And a lot of these NBA guys, not for nothing, but when I see them start throwing down, start slapping each other. They don't know how to punch.
They're going to end up like that guy who fought Jake Paul, got knocked out.
Oh, was he an NBA guy?
No, what was he? I don't even know.
Yeah, he was.
But anyway,
he was. Yeah, he was.
Where did you think I was going?
Yeah.
Where did you think I was going with this? With the subsidies?
Oh no, just money was being going to other countries.
Oh.
Yeah. That's
maybe.
We're not going there. But
yeah, Moses Aitama said that he would.
Yeah.
You know, he's ready for Usyk now. I really doubt that fight happens.
Yeah, some people saying that the passing of the torch is going to be that fight, Aitama Usyk. I don't think that ever happens. I think Usyk's
I suspect that by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise. Like if near the end of the year or by early next year, he says he's retired, I wouldn't, because I mean that would be a real retirement. It wouldn't be like Fury every other day he's retiring. Now this I would believe it. It's going to take a little bit of reordering. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of reordering. But Aitama, he could be the guy that. And imagine some other dude that comes out of nowhere, some fucking guy out of Africa or Central Asia. You never know, man. He picks up the mantle and he goes, me and Aitama.
Remember, we were talking about Pitbull, Cruz, and Lamont Roach, and I asked you about the undercard, and you said, oh, they're probably going to have Erislandy Lara there. Well, apparently you're right, but it's not Lara against a nobody. It's Lara against Janibek. So,
whoa. Repeat that when and where, what?
Yeah, so Janibek against Erislandy Lara is being planned for the Isaac Cruz, Lamont Roach PBC pay-per-view in December.
Wait, I thought that was going to be Riyadh, because I heard somebody posted that on the Discord days ago. But that PBC, hey, listen, you got to give it up to the PBC if they make that fight.
Yeah.
I finally want to see, if Janibek is the real deal, I want to see him do what Jared Hurd did to Lara 6 years ago. Or 7 years ago now. Jeez, Luis. Or worse, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gonna beat the shit out of Lara. But we'll see.
Good.
I mean, how old is Lara? 42 or something?
41? He's Cuban, so he's probably 45.
No, 42, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so make it 45 then. Because he's Cuban. Yeah. You got to add more years to it.
Yeah, probably older.
I believe 45. Well, trust me.
All right. Well, that would add.
Hey, Cubans got good. Yeah, Cubans got good ball players, right? Baseball.
Yeah, they come pretty. They come into the league pretty late, like in boxing too.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Because since the embargo, they've loosened up, right? Since Castro died, so I was just curious if they're letting more Cubans into the MLB.
But they're not coming in like you would have thought, you know. Maybe it takes some time.
Yeah, because I was watching that Seinfeld episode where they sent George to Cuba because they thought he was a communist. So I was like, hey, Steinbrenner says, hey, I'll send you to Cuba. See if you can get some of these ball players. So I was thinking, yeah, that episode was from 1993. I wonder how things changed ever since then. But yeah, man, I guess that's it. That's all we got, Bucho, in terms of news.
Opetaya's fighting against nobody.
Oh yeah, I mean, you want to call that a fight?
Yeah, no.
I mean, even he said, because the last guy he fought looked like Canelo, by the way, and he was horrible. And now he's fighting another guy at that level, and he said, "Listen, I got no choice. I got nothing else." He said, "I got Zurdo's injured. What's he gonna fight Brady's again in a rubber match?"
Yeah, no, that's not interesting.
Well, you heard Benavidez say he wants to go up to he doesn't rule out going up to cruiserweight.
Right.
I mean, listen, I'd rather see Zurdo versus Opetaya than Benavidez versus Zurdo.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Benavidez needs to take care of those fights at 175. But he's already talking about, if those fights don't happen, again, why wouldn't they happen? Like, seriously, you need to make sure you get those fights. But, if at the back of your mind, you're already thinking, well, if those fights don't happen, I'll just move out to cruiserweight. Like, it's an escape. It's a way to escape. No, you gotta do everything in your power to get that Bivol and Beterbiev fight. Forget about the cruiserweight division. Yeah. Nobody wants to see you fight over there. Like, you haven't done shit at 175. Anyway,
that's a good point.
Manny Pacquiao, January 24th, return in Las Vegas. Apparently, he will be fighting.
Manny Pacquiao.
They haven't announced who though. Rolly Romero.
I don't like that.
You don't like the Rolly Romero fight?
I mean,
why not?
They're gonna go 12 rounds.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I think I know where he's going with this.
What? You think they want Rolly to win this fight?
Well, of course, he's younger. Why they want to have an old ass Pacquiao? Unless, unless. The Tank
Davis fight.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Now you just remember because, well, I mean, he was a close fight against Barrios. Why didn't they give Pacquiao the decision then? That's the thing I don't get. But look, if it's a real fight, I hate to have to put it that way, phrase it that way, but Rolly Romero, people say, he beat Garcia. I was rewatching some of that fight the other day. Both guys looked like shit in that fight. I thought Garcia was connecting with jabs in that one. Flush jabs. If you would have just put a right hand behind it, but he doesn't have a right hand. He's a slapper with the right hand. And let's not forget, Romero, he got the shit kicked out of him by Isaac Cruz. And then on top of that, Ismael Barroso was kicking the crap out of him too before Tony Weeks intervened with one of the worst stoppages ever. That stoppage was so bad. Tony Weeks retired afterwards because he couldn't live up to that one. Incidentally, somebody put up a video, I think it was Bray. I think it was either Bray or the Canman. Shout out to either one of those guys on Discord. They posted a video. Ismael Barroso, who's from Venezuela or Colombia, I forget which one. He's a preacher now. He's a street preacher. He was in the streets preaching in Spanish because Dios es Santa Jesus. And he's just talking, he's screaming, he's really putting a lot of into it. And when you look at his face, he looks like an old man. He looks like he's downtrodden old man.
Old as fuck.
What's that?
He looks old.
Yeah, he looks old as fuck. But then you see him preaching and the whole spirit
through it, bro.
Dancing, man.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is Ismael Barroso was giving Romero the business. So would I be surprised if Pacquiao, the way he looked against Barrios, gives him the same business? Wouldn't be surprised. And then they make Tank Davis versus Pacquiao.
That's the fight they want.
Perfect.
That's the fight they want.
I still don't understand why they didn't give him the decision against Barrios if that was the plan, though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking right now. I was like, well, why didn't he get the decision? Maybe they have another plan for Barrios. Maybe they have another plan.
By the way,
yeah,
maybe. Hashtag Impala says, hashtag CCD says, Rolly a Mongolito.
Yo, man.
He's a Mongolito. Well, that's what Jimmy always says. And Impala also came in with a good one. He says, why aren't the Cubans dominating swimming? It's a good question. Why aren't they dominating swimming? You get it? But yeah, no, listen, Romero, I don't think I don't even, first of all, that's another thing. I thought Pacquiao was going to look like shit against Barrios after over 2 years off against a taller guy. But I think I underestimated how bad Barrios really is.
Yeah, exactly. I think Barrios, terrible.
Hopefully, I'm not underrating. Romero.
You know why they didn't want Barrios to lose? Because they want to hold the belt at welterweight. The PBC wants to hold that belt, and then they want Pacquiao to fight Tank, and they don't need a belt for that. So,
but wait a minute.
Why lose?
I hate to say this,
Barrios card. You know,
what if Tank gets knocked out by Jake Paul?
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. But that fight, like the video I made about that fight, someone's gonna have to look good in that fight. Because if they both look like shit, it's not gonna do much for their profile.
Exactly. Like, okay, so scenario 1, Jake Paul looks like shit. He was fighting a 5'5" guy. Exhibition or not, you should be bullying this guy around. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a wrestling match. You're gonna see fucking Tank Davis rolling on the canvas. The referee going like, no, slip, or you're pushing him. It's gonna be like a circus fight. Complaining.
Hopefully,
Tyson, White Buffalo. With the first part of the fight, he's twisting his arm and shit, and he's screaming.
Bruno.
Yeah, Bosa.
Hopefully they get a referee who screams a lot, because I want to hear a referee scream every time they go down in a clinch. No! And the other thing is this. Jake Paul, because this is interesting. People believe, right? People believe, well, if fighter A is in a big mega fight, then that raises his profile. But Jake Paul is already famous outside the ring, right? Like Ryan Garcia. But not every fight does well. I mean, look at what happened against Tyson. It was a mega event. And then he fights Julio Chavez Jr., and they never released the numbers. I tried looking for the numbers for that video that we did. Couldn't find the numbers. So evidently it didn't do all that well. Otherwise, it would have at least said, oh, yeah, it was,
money laundering.
Money laundering. Maybe. Hey, listen, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the Jake Paul thing is he had a mega event, but even with all his star appeal outside the ring with the Zoomers and all that, if he doesn't fight anybody that's worth fighting, people don't tune in to watch him. And so it's the same thing here with this Tank Davis fight, because I've heard some people say, oh, Tank Davis is going to be a bigger name after this one. Depends. I say it depends on how he looks. But if it's like you said, if it's a clinch fest, I don't think it's going to do all that much for either guy's profile. And don't forget, Butch, you brought up the good point about if it's going to be a clinch fest. Jake Paul, no, not Jake Paul, the other guy. What's the other guy? Nate Paul, or what's the other guy's name? Logan Paul. Logan Paul, he fought Mayweather. Remember that one? And Mayweather, for as great as he was, and one of the greatest boxers ever, he couldn't do anything against a younger, stronger guy who just went in there and barged against him. Turned into a clinch fest too. So this could be the same thing.
Yeah, people are in the chat saying it's fake. We have the Real FU TV saying that fight is fake. We also had the Barracuda saying it's fake. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, because this fight doesn't make any sense at all. But like you said, somebody has to look good. Can both of them look good in this fight? Is there a way? It's possible.
Recognize, I know you're in touch with the kids. You got the nephews and all that. Have they talked about Jake Paul, or what's the youth saying about that fight? Are they saying anything about Jake Paul versus Tank Davis?
You'd be surprised. I think that Tank Davis is going to knock him out. Like, you do realize he's like 5'3", right?
5'3". I don't think he's that. Well, maybe
people say he's 5'3". I think it's 5'4". But regardless,
maybe I'm over. But I'm like, one guy's over 6 feet, or at least 6 feet, and the other guy's, a little over 5 feet tall, and weighs about $150.
But that's the other thing. How much is Tank Davis going to come in at? He should be. I mean, first of all, it's an exhibition, so I don't even know if he has to weigh a certain amount. To me, the best thing for him to do is come in 140, so he can come in light and move around the ring. Because if he goes in there 150, upper 150s, he's going to be a little double lard, and it's just going to be a clinch fest against a guy who's clearly stronger than he is.
That shit's going to look weird, man. Weird ass fight.
That's why I'm sort of. I admit, man, I'm sort of intrigued by how that's gonna look.
But then they have big.
The only thing
gloves,
that's sort
no? 12, 14 ounce.
Yeah,
gloves,
well,
no, what is it?
well,
12?
I don't even. Yeah, I was looking into that, and I forget I think they said it was gonna be 10-ounce glove. I think they made it like a side deal or something. That's gonna. I don't remember. But the article that I read for that video that we did, it said that no, it's gonna technically it's an exhibition. That's how it's on the books. But that both guys, they're gonna be judges who will announce a winner. Which I don't understand how that can be an exhibition announcing a winner, and that both guys are allowed to go for a knockout, allegedly. But the fact that on paper it says an exhibition, it seems like this is more of a sports entertainment type of thing where if they ever get sued or anything, they could go, no, but it wasn't, said it was a real fight. On the books, it says exhibition. You know what I mean?
Right.
A bunch of loopholes for that.
Didn't Jake Paul say that, he wants to take boxing seriously? Or he's been taking it seriously? He's been fighting former champions. I don't know what exactly what he was saying.
But that's the thing, though. Okay.
Yeah, this is like a big step back.
It's a big step, a step down. Not to make short jokes, but it's a step down because look, people keep giving him credit for, but he takes the boxing seriously. Well, yeah, I give him credit for training, right? Because that, not for nothing, but that can get dreary after a while. Being in the gym day in and day out. So he's putting in the work. But as it pertains to fighting real guys, he's like, people wanted me to fight a real boxer. Well, now I'm fighting one of the best pound for pound. First of all, he's not in the top 10 pound for pound anymore. Thank Davis. Nor should he ever have been, even after the Garcia win. But he's making like, I'm fighting a world-class guy. Yeah, you're fighting a world-class guy. You got 6 inches on the guy. I don't know how many inches you got on him in length. And on top of that, you got pounds on the guy, at least 40 pounds. I mean, come on. It's a very calculated career. Fighting Chavez Jr., who was essentially coming out of the Betty Ford clinic on high heels. MMA guys who are they're not even young MMA guys. They're fucking old MMA guys. Mike Perry, he's a bare knuckle guy, and even though bare knuckle is very tough, it's a different sport. They throw the punches differently, the stamina is different. So it's been a very calculated career, and unfortunately, I'm still intrigued about how this fight is gonna look. And not for nothing, but the undercard, though, even though it's got women's fighting in it, which I know the only guy in here who's a fan of that is recognized. But other than that, they got the women's fight. Then they got a good one, Gary Anton Russell versus Andy Hiraoka, who's a big puncher, Japanese puncher. I think he's half, what is he? Half something. He's half Venezuelan, I think, half Japanese. So that's an interesting one. Then they got another women's
Jamaican,
fight.
half Japanese.
Oh, okay, there you go. Jamaican.
Yeah, I've seen his pops in the ring. He has like big ass dread.
So he's Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go. So that's an interesting fight. But then they got another women's fight, then a strawweight fight. So I don't know what to make of this. I don't even know. It's on Netflix, so we don't got
free on Netflix, right? So, I mean, you're not losing anything.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a good point, Butcher. Yeah. For some reason, I still thought it was pay-per-view, even though I actually did research on this fight weeks ago. I guess it just escaped my mind.
Bullbook Sack in the chest is asking who y'all got, Haney or Norman Jr.?
I hate to say I got Haney, man.
Haney by boring
I'm rooting for Norman. But I just don't know. He's got to figure. Again, we can make a video on this. It's probably going to be on Patreon. But the way the Haney bends down to his right, he does it very quickly. And these guys run into him when he bends down to his right. They run into him, and then he'll wrap his left arm around them. And that's all she wrote when it comes to the clinches. And then he'll jab them in between. And then again, he'll frustrate them. So they'll jump in because they're frustrated. Then he bends down again to the below the waist and he clinches them. And it's a lot of guys that don't know how to deal with that. Ryan Garcia could do it because he was as quick as Haney and he hit harder. But Norman, the way he looked against Quinton Randall, look that fight up, guys. You can find it on the internet. It's on YouTube. You can find it. And that dude, Quinton Randall, all he was doing was giving him the Philly show. And Norman didn't know what to do with him. So, listen, I'm pulling for Norman. The Haneys, really, with their smoke and mirror crap, it got old years ago. But I don't know if Norman Jr. can pull it. Hopefully he can. It would be one of the highlights of the year if he can beat him up.
All right. Having said that, I think we should end the show. We should have another show this week, maybe tomorrow. Not gonna make any promises, but we're gonna have a show pretty soon. We're gonna be doing more shows. Yeah, we're back. I mean, we'll try to find something to talk about. I have some stuff that we could talk about, like what Ryan Garcia said about Golovkin. Is he a Hall of Famer or not? Also, we can look at the future. Who's going to take over boxing after Canelo? Because and he did lose, and he might retire soon. So what's next? So we're gonna be discussing those things on the next shows. Having said that, thank you for being on the show, people. Hit the like, hit the like. Yes.
Sobers is I don't know. Sobers, are you gonna go live within the next 48 hours?
Yeah. I'm already live, bro. I'm already live. It's already up. I'm gonna probably jump over there in a minute. People start gathering up. You know what I mean?
All right.
So if you guys want to, if you guys want to keep up with what's going on in the YTBC streets, that's the place to go. The taqueria.
The streets.
No, it's the YTBC Yarda right now, fool.
yeah. They got the launchers and everything.
It's fucking going down. People getting shanked and shit.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I thought you meant Yarda as in, like the backyard. I didn't know you meant the Yarda.
Yeah, the yard,
Yeah, all right.
All right. See ya. Take care.